And we are live. Thank you for joining us for our Friday night fantastical Dungeons and Dragons 5e extravaganza. I am your diabolical dungeon master, Will Tomorrow, to help weave a narrative tapestry of delight and woe, of romance and action, of joy and sorrow, of fear and trepidation, of adjectives and descriptors. With me to do that this evening are my four friends, right? Here to take you through the Sword Coast and indeed cosmology beyond as we dive further into what the title of this show could possibly mean. I mean, so far it's just been fanned over, right? When we talk about this rod and these realms numbering 7, well, what could that be all about? Ooh. As you stick around, you are going to find out more, aren't you? One thing we know for sure, it's been wacky so far. Wild magic going off left and right. Critical successes and failures procking dastardly events that have led to, comedy and war crimes both, all right? I mean, there's been so much wacky nonsense that has already transpired. I can't wait to see where it is going to continue. Thank you, Felix Ocean, is going to be our last episode for 2 weeks. Alas, dear viewers, nigh half of our cast is going on the convention circuit. But I assure you, all right, that with all my wizarding power and prowess, that I do intend to bring a different and cool, show on these Friday nights. It's gonna be D&D, it's gonna be the Zone, it might be a Deadlands one-shot. I'll be looking for randos to play maybe even, so why don't you join that Discord with ¡Discord in the chat to get that link, and who knows, maybe you could be sitting here pretty with the big boys of D&D. That's right, we're the big boys of D&D now. It came out my mouth, so now it's canon, right? That's the good thing about being a dungeon master. But I'm going to relinquish my position as dungeon master for just a moment here, while we go about our weekly tradition of kicking off the evening's adventure with a campfire tale from one of our dramatis personae. This time, of course, being Teleison. She has, rolled off camera, right, because I'm incredibly forgetful for reasons I can't remember. All right, and it came up her. So, by all means, please regale us with a tale. I'm assuming the night before, then, the events that have transpired just now?
Sure, yeah. That works. So, there we were, in the Neverwinter Wood, as you do when you're ranging out in Faerun, right? Well, it was me cousin Ogren, and his sister Brodwyn, who's also my cousin. But you knew that already. we were out there in the woods, right? The trees were tall, the breeze was blowing, there were creatures everywhere. And we came upon this bloody mansion right in the middle of everything. A whole mansion. I'm not even joking. It's like it just displaced everything around it. And then this pleasant feller came out and he had a little sign and he said, "Please come in. I'm having a sale." So we're like, well, hell, we'll buy shit. We haven't been to town in like a week. So we went in, and he was having this sale in the grand hall of his little, had to be like a magical mansion type thing, kind of like that thing that we went to, when we were back at the keep. We went to that anyway. So we went in, and he had this wonderful sale. He had like tables with all this stuff on it. He sold mostly just spirits and the like. He was this mage, right? And he sold like mostly just rum.
Wait a minute.
So he was a rum mage, and we were selling and he was selling things on tables, and we had to just kind of dig through it, right, and find what we wanted. And but he was like, "Hi, so my side trade besides the spirits, you see, is animals." And I was like, "Whoa, animals are our friends; they're not our property." But see, me cousin Blodwyn, she'd had a little snit up her bun about getting an owl bear. She wanted a wee little owl bear to keep for her own. Dumbest thing I'd ever heard. He said, "Well, I've got a little nest of them back in the back." And we said, "Well, okay, well, we'll go see." I mean, he's like, when they're little, they're almost trainable, right? So, come and get them here. And she was like, "Oh, we have to go get the little owl bear, blah, all that shit." And she clearly hadn't remembered the last fight we had with one. But anyway, we went back and we looked at the nest of the owlbears, and they were cute and all. And she was like, "Oh, I love this little owlbear." And then the little shit, he just like, I don't know if like the blink dog that was in the next stall like spooked him or what, but he just flipped out, scratched me right across the bloody face. And I was like, "Bloodwin, we're not keeping this goddamn owlbear." And he said, "Well, I've got something else that you might like." And he took me over, and he had this little den of like chipmunks, and they were the cutest little chipmunks that I had ever seen in my life. And that's how I got a hold of not only my facial scar, thanks Bloody, but also I got a hold of Sir Effington Wadsworth. He doesn't like to come out very much, but I always have him with me. And if you haven't noticed him, well, that's not on me, that's on you, because he's the cutest little fucker you've ever seen. But yeah, so we met like at this rum mage's sale. We got animals. I didn't even come out with rum because I prefer mead. But yeah, so
just to clarify, all right, you went to a rummage sale. All right,
a rum mage's sale.
Right, a rum mage's sale. Excuse me.
That's right.
And whilst there, both got your animal sidekick and your facial scar in Disney's The Han Solo story, kind of every event in my life happened in the same 2-week period kind of deal.
I mean,
right.
Well, yeah. I mean, my grandfather had already been killed like 3 years prior.
Right.
So I mean, not everything important that happened in my life, but
right.
definitely.
But you got your black friend.
I didn't get my tattoo there. I haven't told you about that.
That's true. That's true. So you didn't get like your leather vest, but you did get the Millennium Falcon, your black friend, and your Wookiee sidekick at that one particular rummage sale.
I mean, I don't want to say everything happens for a reason or anything, but it definitely did.
You left out the best part there, Delaison.
We did not kill the owlbear.
If you're out on the trail, you run out of rations, you got an emergency food package right there just walking around.
You've tried to kill Sir Woodyworth like 4 times. He's not for eating. He'd be barely a morsel for you anyway.
If he gets too much
bigger, I just look in my pouch and I'm like, don't listen to him, he's dead.
He's going to be a danger if he gets bigger.
Poor animal, right?
But yeah, so I'll bring out his name is Sir Effington Wadsworth.
Oh, he's so cute.
He prefers sometimes the nickname. It's not even really a nickname. It's kind of his little catchphrase that I made up for him. But when something's like really fun and he loves it, we call it Woodyworth, because he gets really excited, and it's worth Woody's time, right? So he just gets really happy.
And and it should be worth saying that the chipmunks in real life are, of course, adorable, but the chipmunks of the Sword Coast are just ridiculously adorable. I mean, big anime cartoon watery eyes, their cheeks puff up just so, little cute pink button noses. I'm sure Rife just loves it. He's enthralled.
It's true.
Yeah. Well, thank you for, again, that very... I love it when a weekend's just like, and most of the stuff noteworthy about me. That's my only problem with Han Solo. I know I keep circling back to this.
But
really, right. in that 2 weeks of his life, everything noteworthy about his character happened. Like, okay, that's cool. That works for me, I guess, Disney. Well, in that case, you picked a fortuitous time to portray. What if they had picked another 2 weeks when he was like, well, fuck, the ships broke down, so we're just going to drift here for 2 weeks, Chewie? I mean, it could have been that could have been the movie, right?
It could have been.
Right. But thank you very much. And with that, I suppose I should probably recap the events of last week, which included a very much so wandering around the town of Phandalin, which you discovered as a mining frontier outpost being rebuilt from, of course, when it had been ransacked by allegedly orcs some 100 years prior. But, of course, there's no orc weaponry or anything left at this point. That's just hearsay. What isn't hearsay is the number of new businesses that have popped up in the place, right? Including the Kicking Donkey Inn, right? Where you guys procured lodgings and interesting food and beverage. I can't help but recall the gelatinous Jello Jigglers. Because they Power Word Drunk was another favorite that evening. I believe many Constitution saves were failed in pursuit of sampling said beverages. But you learned from the inhabitants of the town that there were several issues that currently needed redressing, if you were. Right, not the least of which the folks that you had mistaken for the town guard, surly bunch in red clothes as you had entered Phandalin, were not, in fact, the town guard, but a local group of mercenaries and outlaws that have decided to impose their own sort of order and justice upon the poor and, frankly, non-militant residents of Phandalin, right? They've been wandering around demanding things, murdering people that have deigned to not comply, and generally making things much harder for this burgeoning community to prosper, right? In addition to that, right? Oh, there he is. Poof. Disappeared for a second, came right back. Magic. In addition to that, there are the Goblins of the Kragma tribe that have been menacing Phandalin from without now for several months. And, the orcs that have stationed themselves allegedly up in Raconteur, at least if the town board is to believe, which is job offering, saying that you guys should take them out for a bit of coin, because that's real easy, right? Just roll up there. Anybody with the sword, make your way up to Raconteur and slay some orcs, right? And they'll give you 100 whole gold for it. I mean, hell, I'm surprised Carp Alderleaf, Quaylene's little 8-year-old halfling boy, hasn't wandered up there and knocked it out, right? With such a reasonable request. All right, Sister Garale, of course, at the Shrine of Timora, right? Shrine of Luck. All right, wants you guys to speak to Agatha the Banshee, right? Who we'll get a little more history rolls on as we approach her lair, because she's quite a figure, right? She wants you to ask about a long-forgotten spell book belonging to a dead mage named Bowgentle, all right? Of course, if she can divine the location of a long-dead mage's spell book, she could probably divine a lot of things, right? And it might be wiser to ask her something more pertinent, but that remains to be seen. Darren Eatermeth got you guys some of his lovely mead, right, in his apple orchard up north, and informed you guys that there was an ancient set of Netherese ruins about 2 days' travel to the northeast outside of Phandalin that sat high on a bluff and had a tower and enough repair that you could climb up and seek vantage should you be looking for anything that could resemble a Kragma castle, right? And while there, you could perhaps look into the rumors of undead circling the area, as it is a Netherese ruin, and they are frequently chocked to the brim with magical artifacts leaking out into the surrounding area and causing all kinds of havoc, right? So that'd be a solid for him. Boy, so much, right? Quelline Alderleaf gave you guys bumbleberry pie, filled your head with rumors, right? Her 8-year-old boy attacked Rife with a wooden sword. It was adorable. I almost got him, too, frankly. I mean, it was made of wood, and we've determined from some broom combat that wood is Rife's weakness. And so, I mean, it probably would have taken him out. For sure, right? But we determined from Quelline that, well, she knows right off the druid, also a fan of her homemade pies, and just the halfling folks in general. And he knows the area like the back of his hand, so if you could find him in Thunder Tree, it would 100% be in the know as to where you could find the old owl well, Kragma Castle, any caves in the area, where the best place to get a hot dog at 2 a.m. was. I mean, he's your dude, He definitely knows the Tribor region of the Sword Coast. Right, and last but certainly not least, Sildar Hallwinter wants you to just wander out into the woods and ambush some goblins, beat the shit out of them until they tell you where their lair is, and then go there. He's a pragmatic sort. Oh, Sildar. He said, you could ask a bunch of questions, or you could just go kill some goblins. Right? There you go, Sildar. And it might be bitter that his left hand was technically half consumed by some goblins, right? And he might be working through that, right? So maybe take that with a grain of salt, but not a terrible idea as far as ideas go. Unfortunately, right, you guys, you had requisitioned your lodgings, right? You were on your way out of town. You got your rations all stacked. You were good to go. When 2 of those red bands approached you, and 2 of the red bands, like, synchronized, peeled around the corner of buildings, right, tapping in unison, to let you know that they meant business, right? And they approached you just plainly in the street. I mean, people are closing their shutters. Women are ushering their children into their skirts and getting them into building. It's right, like, and they say, all right, that's all your stuff then, right? Put it on the ground, be on your way, we've had enough of you. Right? To which, I believe, Alestria gave a very nuanced, well, get fucked, right? And began doing that, magic dance thing that the elf barbarian gets into, and that's, pretty much precisely where we left off. Is that about the long and short of it?
That was the short and long of it for sure.
That was the long of it, definitely. There was a lot. I mean, there was a ton, and we have a ton of objectives.
We talked to a lot of people last week.
Yeah, for sure. But with that established, I think the talking is probably likely over, as these fellows have said we need to roll initiative, right? It's good that they're very cognizant of the rules of the game that we have all decided to play together, at least.
They have to keep us in line.
That's nice. Yes, but you guys find yourself now in the streets of Phandalin. Have I shared this? I shared this. Yes. Oh, there we go. Ooh. Facing down as I get my soundtrack up. Where is my soundtrack? There we go. Yes, you need the driving percussion to really speak to the fact that the violence is about to erupt, right? As they stare you down, fingering their poorly maintained weapons and scowling, spitting through the gaps in their blackened teeth, Enough of them are masked right now, right, that you can't really tell one from the other, so they can be reused as stunt double extras in a later fight. But, all of them give you that, like, surly demeanor, like they're here for one thing, and that is bloodshed. But Alestria Goldentree, having initiated with the dance, the Yaz Queen twirl, as it were, will be up first in the initiative step, not but 30 paces away from the red brand that had been pointing at the ground like he expected you to drop your coffers.
I will enter the dance as I start to move forward. I will move straight up to the first guy kind of directly in front of us.
Mm-hmm. And I will allow you to do that by turning off token lock.
There we go. And then I will my attack kind of as I take the last couple of steps forward. I swing my attack from down below, kind of trying to take in the thigh of the gentleman. It's quite a reckless attack, though.
Ooh, recklessly attacking the thigh. Perhaps overconfident given the lack of prowess of the adversary, but proving fair as an assumption. As a 14 will definitely strike with the modifier, bringing it to a 20. But partially resisting. Wait, what? Did you target yourself there? You totally did. You have targeted yourself, stabbing yourself lightly for 4 points of damage. We could try that again by dragging that damage die. There we go. That's a lot better.
Fixed it.
I will go ahead and remove those 4 wounds from you because that's not how. And they are now applied to the far less resisting Red Band Ruffian 4, who is definitely, you slashed him across the thigh, exposing the meat as it splits and the thigh bone open there. The outside of the thigh is not subject to a lot of arterial passage, right? But it's certainly a nigh incapacitating blow. He's not going to be using that leg very well. He howls in pain, startled, as Red Brand Ruffian says, "You're gonna pay for that, you not-feared bitch!" And, oh yeah, that's right, elf racism. Ooh, they're bad guys, for sure. Comes sprinting up, and being a ruffian is going to use his multi-attack here, +4 short sword lashing out, but faring, oh my god, well against the dancing barbarian, unsuspected here. She will resist half the damage on the first strike, the twirl causing it to be a glancing blow, dealing 3 points, barely piercing her skin as it recoils off, and he swings again, furiously spitting fleckles of, spit on his mouth. Ah! And is that, my goodness, a second hit? Wow, he's rolling really well. A 19 following that 21 to hit there. I forgot to turn off the DM dice. That's on me.
Well, they are also rolling at advantage.
Terrible.
Well, because you went reckless.
Yep.
That was why I was like, damn, and it's green. I should have taken that into account. But yes, the game did for me, so I barely need, but the dice was terrible. He rolled a 1 on that D6 again. He technically injured you twice, but about as technical as an injury could get. Unfortunately, they all did pretty well on the initiative step, right? And they are used to ganging up on women, right? Because that's the kind of men they are. That's right. I'm inferring that about their characters right now. I don't think, the more I learn about these Red Band Ruffians, right? The more I think they may not be on the up and up. Short sword lashing out to try and finish what his associate could barely start. And it's still, he's dropping 4s for 16s, getting the 20 again. They're like, eventually we're gonna do damage! Oh, and a 4 on the damage that time for a 6, partially resisted for 3. It's building up now. It's starting to build up now. Yeah, you have several little nicks, right? Like you messed up shaving pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's like you made out with a thorn bush, Alestria.
Right. Well, and who knows with those wood elves, you know what I'm saying? Ooh. But Red Band Ruffian number 2 is, did he not? No, alright, Red Band Ruffian number 4. I hit the menu button, not the next button. Going to swing his short sword. And he's the one you stabbed in the thigh, so he's clutching with one hand here. As again, man, that reckless attack, you called it though. You were like, make it reckless because Papa's resisting, right? Or Mama's resisting.
Yeah.
So, they're all gonna hit, but they're all gonna do next to nothing, but still there, a 5 resisted for half for 2. You are now moderately wounded. They are starting to stack up as his second multi-attack comes ringing out. And, a hit again. Advantage. But again, now that one though. That one started to sting a little there. 5 on the D6 plus 2 for 7, half for 3. It is, you know, you're starting to feel it. You know, I'm not gonna deny that, they haven't stacked up there. But again, if I'm not mistaken, they're damn near all out of Red Band Ruffians at this point. Oh, in fact, they are. Look at, why did Red Band Ruffian number 3? Interesting. Okay, Rife, you're up.
All right. Well, definitely only like to be seen ganging up on him with having on our side. So Rife's going to move up to next to Alestria, and he's going to go after the injured one, hoping to take him out. So he takes his book and he just starts swinging it around and just like brings it down, crashing down on the guy's head.
Red Band Ruffian number 2. Wow, so I saw that 19 hang out there. And then it said, no, I'm actually a 3. Yeah.
He's overconfident. He's used to like smacking these little goblins around, and you know, his aim's a little bit short. So he comes up.
These guys do have like 4 years of jazz tap. I mean, they're coordinated.
Yeah. He just growls at them.
Less
just
effective.
warming up.
But well, hopefully. Sariel, you are up next. About 30 feet, 40 feet away from the pack now. The melee having formed a line in front of you.
I would like to take a step back and a couple steps back and kind of be adjacent to Laeson. So I shout out to Alestria and I say, Alestria, you're being reckless. And I would like to cast...
Literally.
I would like to cast my healing light.
Excellent.
For some
Healing.
heal.
And healing light, that's not the touch one. No, that's like anyone you can see. I keep forgetting.
Yep.
It's such a good healing cantrip for level 1.
I'll close
It's
my
really
eyes
great.
and I raise my hand, and you'll see like my eyes kind of light up behind my eyelids, my closed eyelids. Some luminous. Oh.
Nice.
Yeah. Full heal popping off there. D6, 4, 6. Taking Sariel down to 4 wounds there, and making her just lightly, or Alestria down to 4 wounds.
Yeah.
That's how I say names, and making her just lightly wounded as opposed to grievously. And with that, Teleason is up.
All right, Teleason is gonna just kind of shimmy over here, or she's gonna move across. There's a building not far from us, and she's gonna move over there to perhaps maybe have a little cover.
Yeah,
maybe
partial
not.
cover. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she's gonna go over there, and or I'm gonna go over there, and I see. So it looks like Alestria and Rife are getting ganged up by three of the red brands. So I'm gonna just start shooting at them to see what happens. See if I can't pick them off.
And remember your Pathfinder firing into melee penalty? No, nothing like that.
Yeah.
You're a king archer.
Pew! So yeah, I think I'm gonna go after Red Brand 1 just because he's the closest and is still looking okay.
Yeah.
So let's see what.
And you got the best line of sight on it. You don't have to like fire in between your friends' heads or whatever. Oof. That was a hit. I saw that one there for a second. You saw it hover. I mean,
I was expecting it. I was like, oh well, here we go.
I do love that it adds the drama. Oh man, full damage.
Very nice.
And I forgot to do it even though I have my little post-it note up. Can I use my bonus action at this point to cast Hunter's Mark? I know it doesn't apply to this shot.
You definitely can, yes.
Okay, I'll do that then.
9 points of damage, grievously wounding Red Band Ruffian number 1. Arrow lodging right in the meat of his pack, causing him to spin from the impact of your dwarven short bow. Excellent. And Hunter's Mark. We have it on you, so remember you just have to apply it on, drag it onto the token of the guy you want. Perfect.
I think I just
You're good.
did it.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Oh, it's the other one, I think.
No, I went after 1.
Oh no, the other Hunter's Mark. You have that one effect
Oh,
to
was it?
apply
Oh,
on
I'm
yourself,
sorry. Okay,
and the other one.
I'll fix that. If
you're all
you
good.
want to go ahead and move on.
Yeah. Next round of combat is up, and Ruffian number 3 is going to open. He is going to advance on Rife. His friend is currently trying to avoid getting hit with this strange, it's a maul, technically, but it's a large, heavy, bound tome on the end of a 3-foot length of chain that Rife just seems to insist on using to beat literally everything to death in a brutal, bludgeoning, and not frankly elegant or artistic fashion. Not that one needs to be elegant or artistic when beating somebody to death with a book on the end of a length of chain, right? It just kind of happens whether or not you're being like, la, 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 right? It's just, they die regardless, right? And that's intimidating to him, I guess, is the story I'm trying to get out here. So he's going to use both of his multi-attacks to try and be like, could you stop doing that to Gary? And Rife will not stop doing that to Gary, the poorly maintained short sword just bouncing off of his chainmail as he pulls back and tries to take another stab. No, yeah, he does not have what it takes to penetrate Rife's AC. Just kind of pathetic, like, you leave Gary alone, is what Red Ran number 3 managed there. And Talayasan is up again. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I look over at him, I say goodbye to Gary.
Damn.
I'm pretty sure that's a song in the 60s.
Right, yeah.
All right. Well, Talayasan is like, well, I got that bastard. I'm going to go after him again. So, I'm going to take aim there at Red Brand Ruffian number 1 again and see what we can do.
Excellent. Knocking another arrow aimed at Red Brand Ruffian number 1, who you didn't have to roll a 19 on it for a 26 with your bonuses,
though.
Overkill.
What could I say?
It wasn't essential.
I mean...
Yeah, that's just gonna critically wound him. Yeah, no. You pin him in the other pec, right? One of his arms was useless, right? And he was just getting used to the fact that he was gonna be a lefty forever. And then
Did that get my hunter's mark damage, or do I need to roll another d6?
Let's see here. That did not. Roll another d6 on it.
Okay.
For another 2, will that... Well, it won't count as damage then, so
I was gonna say, I wasn't gonna drag it. Yeah.
Oh, shit, but 2 points is precisely what you need. He had 14 wounds. That takes him to the... Well, you don't know what their HP is. Cough, cough.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, hits him in the right pec. He goes to raise his sword with the left pec. You hit him with the left pec, and then he's just like, well, fuck, now I have to die, right? I mean, what am I gonna do with no arms for the rest of my life? Just sit here in Phandalin and be like, please, I know we were really bad to you people, but will you, like, spoon feed me? You ruined his whole ish.
Give me a sponge bath.
Right? There was no physical therapist in Phandalin. I mean, it was a bad scene, right?
My hunter's mark, if he drops to 0 hit points, I believe I can move it to another...
Yeah, you can just apply it to another.
So I'll just move it to the one next to him, I believe is Red Brand 4.
And it's the one that isn't the concentration, the one that doesn't have bracket C. Yeah,
Okay.
and Red Brand number 2 is Gary, officially now, canonically. It's written into the module even, so for some reason.
Fantastic.
Right. Speaking of Gary, he's up next, and, he doesn't really understand the nuances of Elven barbarianism, or how it would be much better mechanically to attack the person that wasn't raging, giving them a resistance to damage, so he's going to use both of his multi-attacks to stab the crazy spinning elf chick in front of him. Gary's not a thinker, he's a fighter, right? Oh, shit, but that nat 20's gonna do it.
What?
Oh, my... Okay, so, we had a natural 20 from Gary, which cricked a critical effect using our multiverse D200 table of 56, resulted in get down. Both you and your target fall prone. So Gary's going to hit you so hard that he's not only going to do critical damage, right, but you're both going to fall down, which is going... Well, now, he can spend half his movement to stand back up and still attack is the problem there. So, I mean, that's probably what's going to happen. But, first attack, critical damage. Let's resolve this first here. Gary, not wanting to be a chump. We named him. That's the problem. I shouldn't have named him. God, and I saw that 6 roll, right? And I was just playing Savage Worlds with my peeps, getting ready for Deadlands coming back on Wednesday, which meant that would have been a 6 again, right? And I was like, let's not kill Alestria, Gary, please. But he does not. He does go for 9 points of damage, partially resisted for 4, bringing her back up to moderately wounded as he falls prone, right? So let's proc the prone effect on everybody here. Yay! Whoops! That's fun. When you have 200 critical hit and critical miss probabilities, things get weird. Wait, the only prone I have is prone and incapacitated? That doesn't seem proper. Oh, but it's for 1 round. Yeah, that's probably it. Okay. So, prone. He stands up, so he is no longer prone, but could only move half his action should he want to, which he obviously doesn't because he wants to hit her again. Now, I forget in D&D, somebody help me here. Is there a bonus for a melee attack against a prone person? It's advantage,
yes, he gets advantage, but he's already got advantage against me.
Yeah.
So he gets double advantage. Oh my god.
Roll
It doesn't.
3 dice.
Yeah, he's gonna roll 9 dice. And I'm just gonna
he
pick.
can feel better about himself.
I'm gonna pick whichever 2 I want. All right, short sword attack. Lashing out. He's like, that's what you get for fucking with Gary. Right? And, you know. He's gonna hit you there. Oh man, max damage though.
Dang.
Gary, wow. D6 plus 2, 8. Partially resisted for 4. Bringing Alestria to heavily. I mean, it's starting to hurt Alestria. Like, dink, 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 dink. I mean, seriously, can you hit her too? You know, they're all just sitting around you and like kicking you, and you know, you're like, all right, I'm starting to get mad. This is serious,
like in
guys.
Shaun of the Dead when they've all got the cool cues attacking.
Right.
Yep.
Right, exactly. But Gary, he put in work there, and now Red Brand Ruffian number 4, he's like, I almost feel bad, you know, for continuing to put in work here, as he's going to incapacitate the elf, then we'll go for the dead guy, and then we'll handle the ladies. But he misses the first attack there, not following through. Finally, right? Finally. Second of his 2 multi-attacks coming through and going to whiff as well, giving Alestria a chance to respond. I'm assuming you're going to stand up and
Yes.
get
It's also
unprone.
hard to attack with a leg cut open. It makes it a little more difficult.
Apparently not, because, I mean, Gary put in work. That was
It's
his...
Red Brand 4 that I cut the leg open on.
Oh, that's right. Red Brand 2 is Gary. You're right. So Red Brand 4, that's exactly it. He's too grievously wounded to pursue it at any kind of,
So,
How many points to keep Gary around? Gary's a fan favorite, guys. Watch out.
Absolutely not, chat.
Can't replace
so-
Billy.
So, Alestria will kind of spin on the ground in like a breakdance style as she comes up and bring her sword across the ruffian in front of her, across his other leg. See how that
His
goes.
other thigh?
Yeah.
And it'll hit, because he was unprepared for it. What's with taking out both sides, guys? It's starting to get a little weird, you know? Oh, yeah, and in fact, this one comes up the inside of the thigh, given the breakdancing position, which we all know is far more arterial, causing the anime-like geyser.
Of course.
And kill
And then-
he did.
And then we'll swing her second sword at Gary, trying to catch him in the arm. That's not where I wanted that. There we go.
And that'll hit 23. Will definitely hit Gary.
Nice.
Oof, and 5 points will moderately wound Gary at this point. I mean, what's this about? You know, all he was doing was just his job. He was just here trying to get goods and sundries. These people come up into his town. It's Gary's town. Maybe he was a hometown boy, too. You don't know. Maybe Gary was recruited locally. Wow. Wow, really? Makes you think. As Rife goes.
Yeah, Rife. So Gary's like right in front of Rife, but the other Red Brand's onto the right of Rife. So Rife looks at the guy to the right and says, "You remember what I said about Gary?" And he brings his book up and he just swings it really, really fast. And he just brings it down as hard as he can on Gary's head.
Oh, 17 will definitely hit. Let's drop that over, Gary. Boom, yeah.
Yes.
And critically wounding Gary. I mean, yeah, catch him in the face. His jaw clearly comes out. You know, he's not gonna be. You know, it's that's bad. Gary's in a bad way.
He'll be eating some soft food.
Yeah, for
Eating it
sure.
all.
Again, no physical therapist in Phandalin, guys. So I mean, like, not looking good for Gary.
Oh,
Was another red brand gonna chew his, you know, here's your girl, Gary. Was he that popular? I mean, people seem to like Gary, though. Maybe they would feed him like a baby bird. As Sariel goes next.
I am in total shock. This is not goblins. I was okay with killing goblins. Goblins are pretty evil, right? And I'm just like, Rife, what are you doing? The man's down. And I run over. How far can I run?
Oh boy, well that would depend very much so on your movement. Let's see here. Speed of 30.
Okay. So I'll move I'll go up a little closer to where I'm parallel with Taliesin with that building.
Yeah.
And then I call out to the, red brand number 3.
Mm-hmm.
You can give up now. Just surrender to us and you can live with your life. And I close my eyes and I cast another healing light on Alestria.
Excellent. Another of the DC. Oh, almost full dice again. 5 points coming back. Powerful cantrip heals coming out.
Wait.
Wait.
We've got a magic highball.
Oh shit.
Oh no.
Dun,
not
dun,
Karen.
dun. Sariel's spell is accompanied by a wild surge due to her emotional confusion at the human avarice and violence on display. Giving us, for the next minute, all of your spells with a casting time of 1 action have a casting time. Holy fuck.
Wow.
You're gonna have to explain to me. I'm a newbie.
Yeah, so, like, bonus actions, right, are like free actions, right? Like, like, normally you can do your 1 action, you can move, right, and you can do a bonus action, right? So now you can basically cast another spell whenever you like for, the next minute, which is forever.
As long as it's a cantrip. That is a specific rule that you can only cast 2 spells in a turn as long as one of them is a cantrip.
Really? Even with the wild magic?
You know what? You can break that rule with the wild magic if you choose. The standard rule is if you have a spell that has a bonus action as casting time, you can only cast a second spell that turn if it is in fact a cantrip.
I'm gonna break that rule because it's way more badass just to be able to cast any second spell, and the wild magic is supposed to be powerful. But that is good to know. I think like outside of wild magic, I think I 100% agree with that assessment because that's. Oh, 2 spells a turn? Yeah, that's no big deal, right? No, it's a huge deal. But yeah, so your turn isn't officially over with that. Should you want to? I mean, you can Eldritch Blast. You can do whatever the hell you want now. Yeah.
I would like to. So let's see. Red brand 2 is just critically injured, right? Okay. I would like to cast Prestidigitation on him to make him clean.
Yes, you can 100% clean red brand number 2. Should you so choose to cast Prestidigitation?
If you guys just give up now, surrender now,
We'll clean you all.
it will be fine.
I love the presence of prestidigitation.
You have cleaned Gary. The rags he is wearing are still worn, right? But they're no longer filthy and soiled, right? Like his beard has like a lustrous shine to it before where it was like tobacco stained, right? Like his hair is slit back with the most recent Gary's he's looking pretty dapper.
Red brand 3 is like looks over and is like, "Who the hell are you?"
Right. Right. And he's like, it's Gerald now. Right? No, yeah, you have definitely cleaned Gary. I mean, he's still nearly dead and still very angry, but also now very confused and minty fresh as we move on into our third round. As Zariel up again, 2 spells just cooking off.
Oh, I didn't get to move my hunter's mark to somebody else.
Oh, well, and by all means, apply it thusly.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Is there a holding action in D&D?
Yes!
You can ready
So-
an action.
Yeah, you can ready an action for a trigger that would cause it to go off. Like, if Gary stabs Rife, I shoot him in the face.
Okay, all right, yeah. So if not Gary, but
Now-
if the
To clarify, how does that work in turn order then? If you can ready the action, if this does this, is it an opposed
She's-
roll?
She stays where she's at, and then when that thing happens, she interrupts it.
Oh, really? Like middle of the action, you'd be like, I'm taking my
Yep.
turn. That's way stronger than Savage Worlds. Cool. Yeah, that's pretty simple too. I like
Alright. So if let's see. If Ruffian 3 moves to attack, I would like to cast my Witch Bolt and my Agonizing Blast at the same time. Targeting.
Yes, I mean you could blat. I mean you could dual fist it. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. With the wild magic on, there's no reason why that couldn't. And I mean he's definitely going
Guys,
to.
just
Yeah.
surrender. Just
So-
surrender.
Red Brand Ruffian number 3 is up, and he is going to attack. So go ahead.
All right then.
We tried.
Yeah, I mean you did your best. You're like, I will shoot you, and he's like, I get that. Right? Oh my lord, agonizing blast coming out at the 16. Boom, that's a hit.
Nice.
So my hand immediately goes out, and my like a fireball comes out, like a Avatar style when the firebenders are shooting a fireball.
Nice.
Except it's not fire colored; it's rainbow colored.
A prismatic fireball.
Oh wait,
Comes
wrong one.
out-
Sorry. Was that the right one?
That was to hit. We want the damage.
There we go.
Holy
Nice.
mother of God, 12 points of damage. I mean, as it flays the flesh off the side of his body facing you. He begins howling in agony. I mean, your rainbow hits him and starts melting his eye on that side, bursting like a
warned you.
grape, you know? That's a hell of a Care Bear stare.
Holy
I'm gonna,
crap.
I just...
warned you to stop and surrender.
Yeah, well, you did, technically. Now, we were assessing character alignments earlier today in the Backstage D&D, dear viewer, and I came to the assessment that Zariel was neutral evil out of all our characters, because she's a newborn babe, right? Like, she's fresh to the world, but, like, so far she's tried assassination and face melting and necromancy. Those were just her go-tos. I wonder if I can raise the dead, no? I wonder if I can melt the face, yes? You know, so, like... I mean, we're learning truths about her. Sure, it's rainbows, right? Are they fun rainbows? Not to Red Brand Ruffian number 3, who's standing in, well, lying now in a half-melted puddle of himself, right? Like, at which point, Gary, severely wounded and very clean, is going to drop his sword and start backing away slowly, clearly with the intention of running if he is allowed. We would definitely call that the end of initiative at this point. I can't believe Gary survived. I did not think Gary was going to be the one making it out of that shit. That's for sure.
Let's not be too hasty now.
Right, that's true. What am I talking about?
So as he backs away, I will walk up and just put my sword on his arm and say, no, stay here.
It's not a problem. It's all right. It's all right. You know, to be fair, I never liked Carl's penchant for racism. I think elves they're valid people as well. They you know, you have a right to be here. I didn't even really want to do any looting, you see. So I was just minding my own business, and they made me be a Red Brand. They did. They said if I didn't do it, they'd kill my family. Yeah, that's right. They were gonna kill my family.
Does he seem like he's telling the truth?
No, he seems like he's terrified and would say whatever he wanted to. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'd like to walk up to him.
Now would be a good time to charm.
And yeah, I would like to walk up to him, and I would like to cast my charm person on him.
By all means, yeah.
I like it.
Okay.
We can get Gary to join the party.
I mean, so why? So you guys can get 10 feet down the road and then kill him in the woods, right? I mean, we've seen what happens when an NPC joins this party already.
That's not a fair assessment. We dragged the goblin out of the woods and then killed him.
That's true.
That did not work, I don't think.
He failed his save, so it did in fact work, is what that means.
Oh, okay.
So it's against his save. He failed because he is not especially wise. Gary is many things, but a font of sagacity is not one of them, right? So, and Gary is very predisposed to then listen to whatever the rainbow gal wants, right?
As he's looking at me, my face becomes a little. There's some light shimmering across my face.
He takes off his red brand cap and kind of starts fiddling with it in his hands.
What are you guys trying to do here in this town, Gary?
Well, I mean, a bit of this, a bit of that, a little bit of thieving, a little bit of murdering, maybe a little bit of something else.
The family that disappeared, are they still alive, or did you guys kill them?
Oh, no, we disemboweled that fella, hung him up in the square. Glass Steph said we had to do it. Yes, we did.
But his wife and children, where are they?
Oh, yeah, his wife and daughter, they're back at the manor, for sure.
So they're still alive?
Well, it depends on whether or not the bugbears have eaten them. Or the boys have, well, you know, sometimes they get a bit on the rough side.
The bugbears?
Oh, the bugbears, yeah.
Plural?
Yeah, 3, I think.
Where did the
Is that-
bugbears come from?
Well, that's a long and complicated story, ain't it? You see, we were hired by this fellow Glassstaff, right? Who was hired by this other fellow named the Black Spider, right? And the Black Spider sent us these bugbears to help us to keep the town in line, because we were supposed to get this dwarf, because he knew the location to some magical treasure.
What was the dwarf's name?
Oh, hell, Stonefinder or something.
Wait, so you work for Glassstaff, who works for the Black Spider. Are you not allowed to make up your own name?
Well, I'm Gary.
Gary the
All right.
Gracious for not dying?
Well, I'm certainly that, yes, sir.
So would the dwarven gentleman's name be Gundren Rockseeker?
Oh, Rockseeker, that's the one.
Did you capture Gundren?
Not personally, no.
Is he in the manor?
No.
Is he beneath the manor?
No, well, not, it's been a couple of days, but no. No, they sent him up north somewhere.
North.
Yeah, with the Gobos.
Do you
I'm
know...
not, I don't really hang, you know, I'm a degenerate, but I'm not like a goblin hanging out degenerate.
You hang out with bugbears.
Well, no. Now, the bugbears were hired on by the Black Spider. They're a new addition, and they are also why I'm not hanging out under the manor right now, because frankly, they've got a bit of a stench, don't they?
They do. You're not wrong. Tell us more. Glassstaff. What is he? Is he a wizard of some sort?
Well, he's definitely that. He's a
where-
short, dumpy, rotund man. A bit bitter and evil, if you ask me. But, well, yeah, it's a glass staff. I mean, it's right there. It's right on the name, right? It does what it says on the tin.
Are there
where-
only
Go ahead.
Are there only bugbears in the manor? Are they the only ones guarding the manor?
Well, I mean, that and the boys. And probably a goblin or two. The bugbears like to keep one around for, I don't know. Well, I don't know why they keep them around, honestly.
Right. And Alistria, is a bugbear the thing that nearly killed you the last time? in Goblin
Yeah, I'm
Cave?
not keen on taking on 3 of them at the same time. Not right now.
Speaking of keeping things around, Gary.
Don't
What do
kill
you
him,
think we should-
Rife. Don't kill him, Rife. Not yet.
I'm giving him options. I'm just checking in with the man, seeing what he thinks he wants to be doing.
Hey, now Gary can be useful. I have more details. I do. There's bugbears and there's an eye monster. Under the
I'm sorry.
Manor.
What? Back up. What?
Oh, the hideous eye monster. We feed him bits and bobs. He mostly keeps to his own. Talks in your head, he does.
I'll look over at Teleus and eye monster.
Perhaps a beholder.
Give me
I haven't ran into
a
one of them in probably hundreds of miles, but they're around.
Arcana. Or
I
a
would like to
wisdom
use my-
insight.
I would like to use an
Either
inspiration on that. Can I use an inspiration on this?
By all means. Mm-hmm.
He's making it up. There's no such thing as a eye monster. With a nat one.
Maybe
Yeah,
not
with
when
the
you
nat
were
one,
around
yeah, for
last.
sure. Taliesin, the 15 will get you. First off, if it was a beholder, right, like, they got
They wouldn't be
way
alive.
better fucking things to be doing than
Yeah,
hanging
I
out with a
agree.
bunch. I mean, no. Eye monster can mean a lot of things. He did mention that it speaks to people in their heads, using telepathy, right? That sounds more like a Nothic than a beholder. Also the kind of thing that would hang out in the warrens of a ruined mansion and eat scraps of meat, right? Definitely more on par. Now, still a horrific eye monster. I mean, they're a bipedal demon with a giant eye on the front of their face that eats carrion, right? And makes you think weak thoughts in your smallest moments. So they're not cool, but definitely not. Beholder, there would have been stalks and everything, and it commands all of us, and, makes me wander around with my trousers on and laughs while it turns my penis into ice. I mean, the beholders are fucked up and super powerful, so
Tell
it
me,
would
tell
definitely
me about, tell me about this black spider.
Well, I've never met him personally. My understanding is he's one of them dark elves, so.
Where's he at?
Well, probably in the castle. Again, I've never met him personally. It's just,
What castle?
well, the one with the goblins up north.
Does it have a name?
Well, not that I'm aware of. I don't be associating with degenerate, right? Goblin. Degenerate goblin.
I look over at Sariel and I say, eye monsters. Obviously making it up, right?
I've never seen or heard of eye monsters myself. I'm not sure.
He's lying to you. Only one way to deal with a liar.
There's
Rife, don't kill him.
Well, there's a couple of ways to deal with a liar. One of them is giving him a pint and sending him on his way. Right? Let's not be hasty. Gary is still willing to be quite helpful.
I would like to look around and see if any other red brands have noticed the commotion, if anybody's going to be coming soon.
No other red brands have noticed the commotion. It's clear the town folks have, though. Right? And also, coming from down the hill, appears to be a very rail-thin man, dressed in the, I don't know, how, a poor man would dress like a king? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all ostentatious, well-worn red robe, right? He's got a aquilinian hawkish nose, and he's wearing a powder wig with the little tiny curls, and he does seem to be marching quite hurriedly with self-importance down the street towards the scene of this now, carnage, frankly.
I glance at eye level at this approaching fellow. And I see if I can see a bulge, and I'm sure that I can't. And I'm like, I believe you were overselling it in there, Mr.
Yeah,
Wester.
for sure. No, the robe gives no evidence of wedding tackle, for sure. No, it's
I do crack open, or I've got my little spigot in my cask of what is my cold iron ale. And I fill up a small horn, and I hand it to Gary. And I'm like, you ain't gonna lie to us, is you?
Oh, Gary wouldn't. No, ma'am.
It's a bit warm. Are you insulting me family by that?
No,
That's
it's
perfectly good for an ale.
It's
What are
fine.
you doing?
It's fine, Dwarfield.
Poison
Sure.
him, Taliesin.
I'm sorry?
Did you poison him?
I didn't, but he looks like he's got a weak constitution.
Are we
Well,
gonna kill him
especially
now?
with like 2 hit points, you know? I mean, fuck. It's like pouring out my abdomen. No, it was a bit stout for Gary, is the impression we're getting
I mean,
here.
it's like a deep. It's not really even an ale. It's just a really dark stout
Mhm.
that almost like a porter, but it's not even sweet.
Right.
Does
Just
Gary
dark.
does Gary have like a coin pouch on his belt?
Oh, yeah, you know, he's got the full accoutrement that you would expect of it. A little short sword, holster, a little coin pouch, you know.
Just like real quick, sheath one of my swords, and then cut his coin pouch out and off and grab it, and just it's
Oh, yeah,
mine now.
are you attempting to do this stealthily, or just like, well, Gary, here's the tax?
Yeah, that's just the tax.
Oh, just the tax? Gary's like, well, you know, I didn't need those 12 silver. That's fine, you have them. Gary, is, gonna... You know what, I think I have renounced the life of crime altogether. I'm just gonna take this off, he says, and he starts removing the red armband. You know, I wasn't really cut out for the life. These guys, it was peer pressure the whole time. I was going to be, Gary was going to be an artist. I was going to be a painter, so I was going to
Gary-
specialize in murals.
Gary, I think we're gonna head out of town for a few days. When we come back, if you're here, you won't live through it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
You know, Gary, you know, my mom just took ill, in Tribor, and I, you know, that's several days, east of here, so I should probably get my things and be on my way. That's what Gary should do.
So I'll kind of
but-
like put my hand on his shoulder and point him what I think is towards Tribor. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah,
And then
generally. Yeah.
Flat of the blade of my sword just on his butt. Go.
Yeah. Oh,
Go.
Chip. Yeah, he's off. He's trying to walk as well as he can, given again, I mean, you guys cleaned him and left him with 2 hit points. So he's, you know...
Not dead yet.
Well, now, I mean, I imagine at this point, like, the cleaning has been pretty senseless as the wounds have continued to bleed out, you know? Like, it was white for 1 second, and then everything started to turn crimson again, but
his
yeah, he's
beard
definitely
looks
on his
lovely.
way. Lovely.
I'd
Almost
like
as
to-
fine as mine, you know?
I'd like to raise my hand and clean him one last time as he's walking away.
Just press the digitate, just... Poof. Maybe it'll take that time. Sure, I mean... He looks startled for a second, and then you can tell he feels kind of dejected by it, like it's an insult or something. His
Sorry.
shoulders slump. Ugh.
I'll
quickly,
quietly
Gary.
lean towards Sario, can you maybe just heal him enough to close up his wounds so he doesn't bleed out while he leaves town?
Oh, that would be a good idea. And I raise my hand.
There will be no
25.
more magic. I demand
Okay.
order. What is the meaning of this? Why have you committed this violence?
Oh, are you a magic narc too? Ugh.
Who's
A
speaking?
magic narc,
Nice.
I'll have you know that I am not
I'll spit
familiar
at
with
his
your
feet.
I'll have you know that we have rules here regarding spitting. That'll be 5 coppers. You can turn it into City Hall.
I want to
Who is
backhand
it?
him. Just like not to
Wait.
hurt him, but to shock him.
Okay, so this is Harbin Wester, right? He is the
Right, this is
town
the town's
master, right? Like, now
I'm
it's
the
a
one
year...
we're worried about, huh?
It's a yearly election, right? But he's got a couple of months left before the election's up still, right? So, again, by all means, right, you can just be like, bitch, right, for sure. But then you've backhanded, like, the mayor of Flavortown, you know? Like, it's probably going to be, you know, an issue.
I mean, what if you actually backhand him? Are you gonna actually backhand him?
Yeah.
Okay. If you backhand him, I'm gonna be. Here's the deal. Here's the deal.
What?
Mr. Wester and your two message.
There's no
Tuba.
deal.
No,
You
will listen to
brigands!
me.
You
No,
fiends!
You
We just
clearly have
took
no
out your
idea what
brigands.
brigands mean.
We just dealt with brigands who are trying
You-
to take a tax
you
by stealing
ne'er-do-wells!
everything off your travelers.
Well, I see the results of your justice here on the street now. I feel it upon my cheek as well.
I barely
The
hit you.
indignity!
Go
The
stare at your statue.
outrage!
Goblins take hits better than this.
I, you don't strike a town master.
Well, when a worthy town master shows up, that doesn't bring
I am
brigands
riding
in.
the water steep. You will be known. You will be known.
Will they
It
also
will be
know
known.
that you let these brigands come in and murder your own people?
Oh, I did no such stuff. You slap me and then you insult my leadership. I don't even know your name.
That is
have to-
what
you
the red brand we just ran off. That's what he told us. He said that you let him gut that woodcutter like a fish. So if he's lying,
What?
And
And,
then
you
we
would
did
you would
you a
take the
favor.
word of some scofflaw?
And then kidnap his family.
why are you bothered by it?
I am bothered. Of course I'm bothered by it. But they're just a mercenary company. They're just in town for a little bit. They're not really an issue at all. If everybody would just mind their P's and Q's by not violencing them in the streets, we would have peace and order. All would be well. But instead,
You let them murder one of the members of your town. You're culpable for
there was
their
no
actions.
Do I appear to be some kind of a swordsman?
I
No,
would like
but
to.
we are.
Do these hands look like those of a pugilist? No, sir. I am for governance.
Well, it's a good thing that you just hired us to clear them out when we come back, isn't it?
I did no such
That's what
thing.
I heard. Did you hear that, Teleason?
Well, I would like to interrupt and stop all this by casting Prestidigitation to make a little bang noise right by his ear.
What was that?
And I
told you no magic, and now you're doing magics to assault me. Oh my!
walk
Well,
closer to him.
While he's while he's upset, I'm not gonna say anything. But I'm just gonna like take an arrow and I'm gonna like lift his skirt a little bit.
I walk over to him and I lean in close to him.
Uh,
Are you
What-
the reason?
what is this? What is the meaning of this? Oh,
Are you the reason?
oh,
Did you know that there are bugbears and goblins holding a family hostage because of you?
there are orcs. Why not? If you're so worried about the goblinoids, why not the orcs in Raconteur? You could, if you were here to save the town instead of causing all these issues, you would be handling them. You would be handling the ones we had actually hired people for instead of assaulting town masters.
You're right. We will handle the orcs. And when we come back, we will handle the red brands. As you hired us to.
Now, I did no such thing.
I'm sure that's what the town will hear.
Allow me to assure you that, would the red brands happen to be solved without my intervention, you see, it would be unwise for me as a political figure to be apportioning my loyalty to any particular side or another. At this point, you understand, you see. But were the red brands to find themselves in a diminished capacity, then perhaps Harbin Western, as town master, would be able to be more rewarding at such a time. Of course, until then, of course, I couldn't have anything to do with it. You see,
You said diminished capacity. I count 4 of them taken care of. That diminishes their capacity, correct?
more like
I pour
well
another
on it.
40
horn of
of them.
stout and I just like shove it in his face. Like chill
oh,
out, mate.
oh, no, oh God. Oh,
No, right
oh.
in his mouth. I make sure. I'll roll for precision to like make him
Roll
cough and
for
shut up.
precision. If you want to try and jockey a shot directly into his agape mouth in the middle of one of his protestations, shit, what do I even want for that?
Is that a dex?
It would be
Sleight of hand?
athletics, sleight of hand, athletics, either or. Yeah, I'd take either.
Acrobatics?
Well, I mean, acrobatics would be if she's like tumbling to do it, you know?
Yeah.
Shot,
Natural
shot.
Natural 20. I know how to do this. This was what this was. I was paid to do this in the bar.
She's
This is
trained
like
for
an old
years.
dwarven bar trick for sure.
Yeah.
You like slap the bottom of the thing and it comes shooting out a little jet to his mouth for sure. No, hits the back of his throat. You see his eyes go bloodshot as he immediately starts dry heaving. Poisoned!
And I just pat him on the shoulder and I'm like, here we go, Mr. Wester.
Oh no,
So-
he's like on all fours trying to crawl
Oh,
away
good.
from you guys at
Hi.
this point.
Hi, bud.
Like,
So, and I'm just gonna follow him because I'm at his like on all fours height because he's rather tall. So I'm just like walking next to him, and I'm like, so, and I put an arm like a buddy arm around him, like Weekend at Bernie's, and I'm just like, okay, mate. So, it's what we're doing. I've got some stuff to deal with, right? So we're gonna come back here, and we'll deal with Mr. Glassstaff. You called them mercenaries, and then you say you can't, take sides. Well, most towns would take sides against the mercenaries that come in and kill their people, which is what my friends were trying to say. But as it is, you seem to be of the little softer sort. Maybe a little yellow under the collar, and
for
bureaucracy. Bureaucracy. Whatever. You keep your red tape on your tumescent tuber back there in your office, but the rest of us, we've got stuff to deal with, and we're gonna go deal with some stuff, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna deal with your red brand situation, and you're gonna pay us for it because Barthen is standing right over there, and me and Barthen go way back like 2 days. He'll believe anything I tell him. He's hired us to deal with the red brands, old Bart. So
Oh, it's
I
good he
think
finally
maybe-
did something.
See? Look,
I
I'm
will
getting you
definitely-
reelected.
Yeah. Oh,
Reelected.
yeah. I don't know if I want the job. I'm going to crawl away now.
No, vote for Harbin. Harbin Wester. He's gonna deal with the red brands. You just wait.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say no. No,
Oh, I
she's
don't
putting
think they can
words in
hear
my
ya.
mouth.
And I give him another shot. I didn't put words in your mouth. I put liquor in your mouth like it should be.
Now, he's on all fours at this point, so I'm afraid I'm going to need this one with disadvantage. I mean, angling the shot, like, to his mouth downward, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I mean, still just looking for a 15. Oh my god. And she rolled
16 on the die.
Yeah, no, definitely knocks another shot. Like, I don't know, recoils it off the paving stone or something, like some kind of
Oh no,
weird
never
ass...
mind. I'm sorry. I didn't get it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mine
Woo!
lagged.
Excellent there. But yes,
I'm not gonna use
quite
my
the second
inspiration
shot.
for it.
He gets on all up off all fours and kind of starts running back towards the town master's office. So why doesn't everybody give me a perception?
Ooh, I'm laughing too hard.
Rife, there's a foppish
Oh.
young lad, also wearing a wig, not powdered but blonde, in fact. And now, does anybody here remember the berries and cream commercial from the early 90s? There was this little kid, it was a Skittles or a Starburst commercial, right? And it was a full-grown man dressed like a 8-year-old page boy, and he'd go, berries and cream, berries and cream. Mommy's
That's
little
what this is.
boy loves berries and cream. Like, do yourself a favor, look up berries and cream, be really perplexed by what the fuck was going on in 2005, right? But that's this fellow here, essentially. He looks quite worried for Harbin's, well-being. And Harbin, you can see him giving him kind of a tongue lashing, trying to make up for his lost dignity. And his little manservant dude, like, totally, like, oh, yeah, kowtowing for it, essentially, as they move off into the horizon. Thank you for the follow, Flapjack and Howler. It was the berries and cream reference, right? Boom. But with that, no red brands are apparent. Most of the townsfolk that have come out are kind of giving you guys that, like, quiet, like, it's clear that nobody is convinced that the violence you have done here thus far has solved the red brand problem, but they are glad to see somebody finally doing something about it, too. They're not fighters. People have come here, taken a stand. It's the first time anybody has successfully done anything in the face of the tyranny that this town has been facing for these last couple of months. So the attitude reflects that, right? Cautious optimism as you make your way.
I look at the group and I say, did Gary say that Black Spider is with the Goblins and Gundren up north?
Yes,
did
at a
indeed.
castle. And that Black Spider is one of the drow, I believe.
Yeah, he called him a dark elf, but it's a safe assumption he meant drow. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to me. It's a he. I mean, usually when I've run into a lot of drow, they're usually female.
Definitely
you know.
usually female. And you can also, why don't you give me a history check?
Just a 12 for
Looking
me.
at
Oh,
a
lots of
bunch
12s.
of 12s. 12s across the board. Oh, 13.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm gonna use
not
my.
a... Oh,
I'll use
yeah, go
my
ahead. Mm-hmm.
my special ability. I can
Is
What's
this
that
elven
called?
history?
knowledge from a past life. So
Yeah,
I may actually.
technically. Yeah, I mean, so that's a sticky widget, isn't it? Because, like, I would say anything elven history outside the Underdark 100%, but then Underdark elf history, yes. I would say elf history. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
So I get a 15 using my
Yes, you
knowledge from
do.
the past.
15 will, if it's a drow elf called Black Spider, right, there's two assumptions one can pretty safely draw from that, right? One, that they worship Lolth, right? And two, that they could potentially be a Drider, right? Which is a far more serious problem than a drow elf is, right? Like a drow elf,
Yeah. Driders are
Drider.
grody.
Driders are super grody. So, if it's a drow elf that goes by Black Spider, those are just... You can infer either of those things potentially from the naming convention, for sure. Yeah, that's the appropriate response to, oh, Drider, shit. That's a whole different... I mean, drow elf, shitty, Drider.
I look at Sariel. I say, imagine taking a spider, blowing it up to the size of an owlbear. Then I point over at Elistria, cut off her bottom, right? Just take her top and stick it on the spider. Imagine that. That's a Drider.
Sounds like an evil abomination we need to get rid of.
Yeah, and an evil abomination with, like, 10th level spells, and, I mean, just, they're bananas. Yeah, they are. They're gross.
We must
But-
purge it with LaRue's light.
I
Indeed.
just don't know what they'd want with Gundren.
Right.
I mean, what
He
is
knows-
she into?
He knows
she into that
the
they'd
location
like?
of a treasure is what Gary said.
He's gonna owe us a treasure if we actually rescue him. More than we've gone through a lot of work already. I haven't got paid a dime yet from this man.
We're
Also
doing
facts.
fine, Rife. It's not like we're rolling around in squalor. We're doing just fine. We'll get paid. Dwarves are
Indeed.
not the kind to forget to pay people that do work for them.
Well, Gundren is... he's a little hit and miss, but yeah. No, for the most part, he's
Teleison,
good.
I just sit over to the side and I'm like,
Yeah, Gundren might need to be reminded more than once that you owe him or he owes you money, but he comes through event. He's that guy, you know.
I says, speaking of getting paid, Alistria, I was gonna have Gary collect the rest of the coin pouches for us, but you sent him off now, so I hope you do the honors for us. Get the rest of those coin pouches off those dead men.
If you want to roll dead bodies, have at it, Rife. I got mine off a live one. You should have thought faster.
I mean, fair. That's. Let me see if they
I don't-
actually have a parcel here.
Right.
They don't.
I'd
Wow.
like to. Let's leave them for the townspeople if they have any gold. They've done enough harm to them.
Ooh. Good luck.
Well,
Let's make haste. We need to save Gundren, right?
yeah, we need to
guess.
make our way to the, because we were just coming back through town to head out towards Old Owl Well, correct?
Yeah, I
Mhm.
don't
Or
think
out
this
to-
changes
out to the-
anything. I don't think this changes anything. I think we still have to go out to the well to see if we can see the castle, perhaps.
I agree, and
Right.
all it changes for me is that we're not ready to go after it. We're just going to have to hope that Gundren is wily enough to keep himself alive.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Um,
We're not in a position to deal with, even if it's not a Drider. All right, if it is a named drow that has titled himself the Black Spider, he could be, they're already great assassins. He could be more than we're, willing to deal with at the moment. So I think we at least need to find the castle so we know which way to head. It sounds like
Yeah.
north is a good idea, though, but
there's a lot north.
there is. But if we go to the well, we can look for the castle.
Absolutely.
Plus
We
And then
can.
on the way, we'll see Agatha. I'm sorry.
We
Sorry,
have-
please.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
I was just saying, let's not forget about the Banshee.
Yeah, we'll stop and deal with Agatha. That's something
So
we need to
indeed,
talk about on the way.
yeah, there is a path from your understanding of the area, right, where you could hit the ruins of Coneyberry, right? It was a town on the Triborg Trail to the east that was sacked several years ago by barbarians, right? And around the ruins of there somewhere is alleged to be Agatha's lair, a banshee that, is pretty common knowledge on the trail. Further on than that, right, another day's travel or so to the east and north some up towards the mountain ranges there by Raconteur is the old Owl Well, which is this ruin that you're looking at. So you could do the whole thing in a circuit, but you would be gone for probably a 10-day to accomplish it. Several days, 2 days travel to the first one, another day's travel back, time spent there.
We still have a wagon at Barton's, right?
You do have
We
a
do,
wagon,
yeah.
Barthen's, right? That was loaded with the provisions that Gundarin had. He had it unloaded, and so you'd certainly have access to a wagon still.
I think we grab the wagon and get headed.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I thought our wagon was actually stabled over at the Kicking Donkey, but
Your horses
maybe it
are
was just our
stabled at the
horses.
Kicking Donkey.
Oh,
The
okay, so our
wagon was
wagon is
part
still
of
over
the,
there.
the load of good and supplies. And I'm sure you guys could requisition it again, having,
Sure.
been the people that brought it in the first place. That wouldn't be an action. But if you guys do want to wagon out of town, we can wagon out of town.
Let's
Yep,
wagon
so-
out of town.
Before we
Yeah.
leave, and
Sorry.
before we leave this actual area, I'm gonna take one of the red brands, the least damaged red, red sash, whatever. I'm gonna take it off him and just tuck it in.
That is a excellent point. I mean, so, guys, they do seem to be a pretty loose-knit confederation of brigands, right? That identify each other predominantly, right, using these scraps of red cloth. So what would prevent you guys from grabbing bits of red cloth and then going to Trisander Manor or using it to interact with goblins that would mistake you for red brands and thought you guys were all in cahoots or something? There is something to be said for a potential disguise. Unless you were just looking for toilet paper, of course, which is also valid.
Yeah, I think
Does
I'll nod
Rife
at
poo?
Rife and grab one off the ground that Gary dropped.
Excellent, yeah.
I'll hold
Are
mine
we
out
you
to
saying,
Sariel.
Sariel?
Anybody
Are
that
we-
wants to... Oh, go ahead.
Are we gonna be red brands now too? As
Not
I
right
lean
now.
over, pick up a red band.
I think that's a smart thing for us to take, but I don't think we should put them on now. I
So
don't
do we
want the
just stab a
townsfolk to assume-
townsperson then? Just... Give us your money, I just see Sariel saying to the next person that walks past. Am I doing it right?
I do look at Sariel and say, "Can you clean this thing up? Not that I mind, but
Oh, sure. And I'd like to clean all the ones that we have.
Yeah, Banff. Yeah, they are still, weathered and, moth-worn and torn and repaired hastily, but clean now, for sure.
all right."
I was
I'll tuck mine
gonna
away.
laugh if they were just dyed with blood, and like
They
for
had
cleaning
a
them,
white
they're like
cloth.
they're like a nice periwinkle, like a fine silk.
Oh, and I don't mean to indicate they're all the same shade of red either. I mean,
Absolutely.
because, there's nobody out there, like, busting out red brand clothing. There's no red brand, as it were. There's just, you put the red on, everybody thinks you're one of them. It's a pretty simple and effective system. But we do have 2 days travel to the ruins of Coneyberry that we are mostly going to hand wave on account of the fact that, I already rolled the encounters, right? And you guys didn't get any, so I know you're not going to be violenced, at least on your way to Coneyberry. But I will say that on your first day, about midday, you guys decided to break for lunch in the shade of a tree alongside the trail that run along a creek. And it was interesting because the shape of the tree was in the face of an old man, right? And not in that way where you're like, ha, that kind of looks like a face, right? But like some druid came by here and clearly had shaped the tree into some kind of effigy of an individual. And the wildflowers seem to grow a little more abundantly, making for a pleasant repast in contrast to the rest of the travel, which is predominantly uneventful. Until, of course, we get ourselves to the outskirts of the remnants of the town of Coney, which itself, as I said previously, was sacked by a barbarian incursion or another several years previously, after the orc invasion that waylaid Phandalin 100 years past. But in the last 30 or 40 years, this was a town at one point. Certainly no longer. It existed predominantly owing to the fact that the Tribor Trail itself ran clean through the center of the thing, and as you round the bend that kind of opens to the ruins of Coneyberry, you can see the short, stubby skeletons of walls that had toppled over, I-beams forming the remnants of roofs, right? And it's clear that there hasn't been people habitating this place in a long while. Why don't we get a intelligence history check as we're thinking
Will,
about
before we
Never.
get too deep in this, would it be a good time to take a break?
Never.
Oh,
But yes,
yes.
after these checks, we will urinate.
Woohoo! 18.
18,
Oh, and a
21,
natural
21,
20. Yeah.
boom, boom,
All those
nat
history
20.
checks. Our celestial visitor knows everything. about
Right,
The
for some,
amnesiac
well, I mean,
knows all.
so it's got to be this spear, right? I mean, because there's no way she, her eyes roll back in her head, and she's like 6 of one and 1 in another. Agatha is a famous banshee, right? Because there's just, why would she know this shit, right? But so
It's stealing my
Agatha,
memories.
right, is a very famous figure. I mean, there, if you don't go to bed at time, Agatha will come and get you. Finish your porridge, or Agatha will eat it for you, and then your kidneys, right? Like, if you're anywhere around this part of the Sword Coast, you've heard tales of Agatha the Banshee. In fact, she had a magical mask stolen from her by a drow of House Do Erden some 140 years ago. It's reputed that this magical mask allowed a person to gain the appearance of any other race. And it would be safe to assume that she is probably pretty fucking suspicious of the intentions of any visitors to her home since that point. Alright? And then, finally, before we go to break, I will take a wisdom insight check. And Alestria, why don't you give me this one with advantage? Beautiful,
Nice Rife on the
beautiful. Nat 20 on the Rife. This actually makes sense that you would know, too, right? In that...
nice
Both
advantage there.
Both of them
Yeah.
were 6s.
That was wonderful. Dropped a 6 for the 6. All right. So, Agatha is a human name, right? Agatha the Banshee is reported to be a banshee of elven heritage. Right? This means that her name is likely a bastardization of Old Elvish. Most likely a distortion of the elven surname Augutha, which meant winter breeze. Maybe that'll be useful, maybe it won't. We'll have to find out after our 10-minute break, because I can see people's back teeth are floating, their eyes are swimming. Hell, my eyes are about to turn yellow themselves. Once you reach a certain age, you need to pee every 12 minutes, you see. And that's where we're at here. But before we go
Nature's
pee...
alarm clock.
Nature's alarm clock, that's right. Boy, I hope you've been enjoying the show. We sure have been enjoying putting it on for you. In addition to our Friday night D&D spectacular. Right, we have a Tuesday free play, right, where we go through a variety of RPG systems with our communities, video games, this and that. If you want to get involved with a tabletop RPG livecast with no experience, it's a great way to do so. And here soon, in a couple of weeks, we will be bringing back our Wednesday show. That's right, we got a couple of people here that never even played D&D before, right? Wednesday, we're going to be bringing back our Savage Worlds, Deadlands, the Weird West. It's my favorite game system and my favorite setting of all. If you think I'm passionate about this one, you should see what I do when they get the cowboys and the magic involved, right? Because I love magical cowboys. That'll be coming back middle of September. Stay tuned for that. It'll actually coincide quite nicely with the 2-week break that we're going to be taking after this episode here on Friday nights, because it is convention season, right? And boy, we got some nerds here. So we're going to be off for 2 weeks after this. But you know what? You could show your support for us before that break to help us to weather those dry times, right? And you could do that by following the channel if you haven't already. No money, no commitment. It allows you to talk in our chat, start gathering those sweet follower points, right? So you can buy potions for no cash to influence the plot, wild magic highballs, all kinds of shit, right? Even, dear viewer, bring folks back from the very beyond. Ooh-wee-oo. You can do that with bits or channel points, so start earning them by being a follower. And also, maybe let's say you're already a follower, you're already a member of the Discord, you're already retweeting our advertisements, right? You're like the super fan, and you want to take it to the next level. Have you considered supporting the channel financially? You could do that with money, or with Jeff Bezos' money. All right, this guy, this dumbass, right, was like, you know what the people will do? I don't know if you've heard his voice, but that's what he sounds like. I believe that the people will take their Amazon Primes and give me half of it. And that's true, but it also gives us half of it. So it's like taking money from Jeff Bezos. He already gets your $10 every month for the Amazon Prime. You would be giving us $2.50 of that, just like that. He would be like, but no, where am I supposed to buy underage children to reap my genetics from, right? Because, you know, he's totally using baby genes to stay alive forever, right? And you single-handedly could prevent that with you assisting our live community theater. So mull on that over the 10 minutes. Or, you know, let him harvest the adrenochrome out of innocent babies. I mean, that's cool too. That's a stance that you are allowed to have. I'll judge you for it, right? But I mean, you know, so it's either adrenochrome babies or support the channel. I mean, it's pretty black or white. You know, you make the choice though, and we'll be back. Thanks for watching, everybody. And we are back. Thank you for sticking with us through our 10-minute break. Our bladders have been emptied, our noses have been powdered, and we are ready to continue on through the ruins of Coneyberry to the Banshee Agatha's lair. We discovered that the Banshee Agatha is a figure of some repute in the Sword Coast, specifically this area, right? 140 years ago, a certain drow elf with the house name Do'Urden stole a magical artifact from her that's made her pretty hyphy about visitors since, and that her original elven name was likely Auglafla, which meant winter breeze in Old Elvish. But the forest grows dark and still as the trail winds deeper into the trees. Rain begins to fall out of nowhere, a thick patch of cloud cover seemingly coalescing over a point in the forest ahead, north of the ruins of Coneyberry. Little tiny, oh, yep.
I had wanted to, I mean, we can go ahead and get through the description if we need to. I'd wanted to talk to everybody before we
Oh, yeah.
run into her.
Yeah, by all means, yeah. Yeah, winding trail, rain starting, unseasonable weather, your breath starts to show, and you are headed north out of town. Clearly headed towards the, you know, if there was going to be a banshee hanging out somewhere, it's that spot there where the birds aren't chirping, right?
Yeah. It's awful quiet around here.
It is.
Not used to quiet forest.
The magic is definitely palpable.
So, I do have a question. So, you know, we got this hairpin stuff for her, right? And, I can't remember her name. It's
The
pronounced
sister?
the way that the sister, Granola or whatever. I don't remember her name.
Garale, but yeah.
Garale. My dwarven tongue has struggles with it. But she wants us to ask about that magic tome. Are we gonna? Do we want to do that? Or do we want?
I'm finding
I don't know if
myself.
she'd be a good ally for us.
I'm finding myself very protective of the town. And if we're going to make connections here, it may be best to do this for the sister and get her in her good graces.
Right.
I
I
think
will
we
say.
should.
Oh, go ahead.
I think we should do as we say that we do, right?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I guess the only things that I was going to ask about, we kind of picked up from Gary, and it sounds like we might be able to get from Glassstaff if we ever deal with when we get around to dealing with that. So, yeah, I think we go ahead as Bothan. Is that the name?
Both.
Many Bothans died to bring that spell book, but no, it was Bo Gentle.
That's right. Bo Gentle. That's right. I forgot he was the tambourine guy. Danced. But I tell you, I just can't remember these names, these surface names. Even when I was in the surface, we were like, I was with dwarves. Anyway, sorry. Okay, I just want to make sure. Now I have the hairpin, but with my poor ability to speak, and the sounds like Rife was saying that she's might be Elven.
Yeah.
Would Sariel or Alestria like to talk to her?
I could if you want me to. I'm not sure I would know what to say to her. But
It's okay.
Try.
If she kills you, we haven't known you that long, so we won't cry too much.
I think we just need to make sure that Rife doesn't speak to her.
Yeah, just not Rife, for sure.
I go ahead and I open up my pouch on my hip, and I draw out a small bundle of like it looks like a fabric bundle, and I unfold it, and the hairpin is laying on it, and I offer it to Sariel.
I'll reach
Sariel,
out and I'll take it in my hand.
If when you speak with her, show her respect and explain what we're looking for, and then offer her the hair comb, and that should be it. That it shouldn't take much more than that, especially if her mind is set on this hairpin.
Do I refer to her as Agatha?
I just call her like Miss, because I don't.
I might call if it were me, I would call her Lady
of Coneyberry.
Aglaron? What's the
Agufla.
yeah, that.
Yeah, good luck with the non-elven tongue hitting that one.
Lady of. Oh, go ahead.
Lady
Why
of
don't-
Coneyberry?
Lady of Coneyberry would be an excellent one. Why doesn't everybody give me an intelligence arcana, specifically relating to how we would, what we would know about banshees or supplicating one? Oh, excellent. Teleasa, knowledgeable about the subject. Alestria, knowledgeable about the subject. Well, let Alestria have it since she was the one doing the explaining. So, banshees traditionally were powerful magic practitioners, right, in their lives, right, that lived lives full of narcissism, greed, envy, jealousy, right? Every single one of them was executed. Right? They were in a position of high magical power. They lost their life in an execution, mostly pertaining to their state of jealousy, envy, wrath, whatever. Right? And they are so full of that narcissism that they reanimate hundreds or even thousands of years later as a lich kind of being that is generally the embodiment of those negative emotional states. Agatha is reputed to be more discerning. But that still doesn't mean that you want to roll up in there, kick in her door, and be like, "What's the name of this book, bitch?" Right? Like, you want a little, And that's apparent, too, in more ways than my exposition, right? Because, you guys are crunching up this dirt trail here through the thickening trees that seem to be woven into each other overhead, and even still, the light rain that's falling is making it through, except for when it makes it to about 10 feet above your heads. The coolness of the air causes it to freeze. You can literally see frost starting to work its way up the tree branches as you get closer to what appears to be a dome of woven sticks that forms like a 10-foot hovel of sorts. The interior of which is a doorway covered in like a sheet of Spanish moss.
So Rife says with this 4 Arcana, banshees really similar to hags. They probably like to eat things. We should have hacked off a limb on one of those red brands and brought it with us, but you might want to improvise.
Sir Woodsworth had poked out of my pouch, but I push him back in.
All right. Oh, nope. Well, guys, I mean, we're standing outside what is pretty clearly this Banshee's hovel at this point, and at least one person is going to have to go inside if you're going to treat with her, right?
So, to be clear, I call her Lady of Coneyberry.
Lady of Coneyberry, yeah.
I think that's the best option.
I offer her this hairpin, and then I ask for the Book of Bojangles.
And then ask her for
Bojangles.
wisdom and knowledge
Bo-
about the Book of Bojangles.
We need the
Bojangles.
location.
Bojangles. And she's going to give you, if you ask her for the location of Bojangles' book, rest assured she's going to give it to you. Not going to be helpful, but she will know where Bojangles' book is as well.
She's gonna sing it just like Sammy Davis Jr. It's gonna be
Right.
beautiful.
And,
And I am not going to do it because, white guy. But, certainly, yeah. So we want to ask her about the right question, hopefully. And again, we get one shot at this.
Okay. I stand up a little taller. I grab my spear and I hold it a little tighter. It brings me some comfort. And I'd like to push open the door and walk in with the hairpin in my other free hand.
If she kills you, perhaps you want to leave the spear here so it doesn't get lost.
I ignore him and I just continue pushing my way through.
Spanish moth sweeps to the side. Yeah, go ahead.
I will follow her in.
Excellent. The two of you are going inside. So, the
guy, we're gonna stay out here.
just chill here. Your breath billows now in white clouds. You pull your garments closer, right, as you make your way inside the dome-like shelter and into the shadows. It's a home of sorts inside. It's furnished with antiquity, chests and shelves, a table, a reclining couch, all ancient and elven in origin. All of it covered in a thick layer of dust, as though none of it has been handled in centuries. The air suddenly grows frigid, and a powerful feeling of dread grips you as I realize I did not loop Agatha Lair's track, so allow me to do that so we get the ambiance when I need it. It drops right when I start describing Agatha. Come on, technology, but powerful feeling of dread grips you at your core. A pale light flickers in the air in front of you above the table, kind of illuminating the darkened interior of the space with little flashes of white light. Rapidly taking form in front of you is the form of an ethereal female elf, her hair and robes waving in an unfelt spectral wind. She might have been beautiful once, but that was long before. Now the twisted visage of a long-dead elven maiden coalesces before you. Her skin is withered and stretched along her hollow face. Her eyes are bereft of color or any spark of life. A sneer twists her leathery features as she, speaks. Foolish mortal. Daughters of Faerun. What is it that you seek here? Surely not such a meaningless death.
I let out a slow breath and I take a step forward slowly. I bow my head and I hold up the hairpin and I say, Lady of Coneyberry, we have come to ask for wisdom and knowledge on the location of the spellbook of Bojangles. And I bow my head.
Nice.
Very well, child. I know what you seek. I know many things. Place the bauble on the counter, and you will be rewarded.
I go and I place it on the counter that she indicated.
So, a couple of things then. Wisdom perception check from Alestria and Sariel.
I don't see nothing.
You don't see nothing. Sariel, it's apparent to you that she is intangible. Right? She appears like a physical form, but moves freely through the counter. Whoosh, right? And that's why none of the dust has been interrupted in here. All these treasures have been laid in here and uninterrupted because she cannot physically interact with anything, right? And with your 20 there, that also makes you super fucking aware that she is absolutely immune to physical damage, right? Like, Rife could come in here and swing that book until he died again, right? Well, I guess it's a +1, so it's technically a magical weapon. It would be a pain in the ass, right? Physical damage, she's incorporeal. That being said, she probably would not use her hands to, injure you. And indeed, in half a second, 1 second she's in front of you, and the next second she's behind you, her hands, like, on your shoulders where they would be unfelt except for a coldness that lingers there. As, she continues, Bow gentle, was it, child?
Yes, lady.
It was long ago, the necromancer named Serenoth, from the city of Eriobor. 100 years now hence. Does that resolve your query?
What? So she said it was a necromancer Serenoth 100 years ago.
Yeah, Serenoth, the necromancer, took it from a city named Eriobor more than 100 years historically, which, not super helpful to you guys. Maybe it'll be super helpful to Sister Garale. But, you do get every impression that Agatha is being truthful. Alright? Because, I mean, why would she make something like that, you know?
Yes, my lady. That was all we were here for.
Then go and take care not to take anything, lest I take you. And with that, she swirls and disappears, and the temperature starts to normalize a little, and you're left alone in this hut.
I let out a sigh that I didn't know I was holding inside, and I turned to Alestria and I say, let's go.
Yeah.
And I walk briskly out the door.
Hell yeah, you walk briskly out the door. Fuck all of that, right? All right, lady, that's 100 years ago, huh? That's useful information. We'll be on our way. Enjoy the comb that you can't touch. I love it. Fantastic. Yes, everything's cool. I mean, they come out clearly shaken by their experience, but seeming to have some kind of resolution. The only thing you guys have noticed is that the temperature has slowly started to normalize.
Well, did you hear any of that, Alestria?
I assume I heard all that, right?
Yeah, you got all of that. The necromancer named Serenoth, Tsernoth, Serenoth, from the city of Eriobor, Iriaebor. 100 years ago, so probably, not exactly a hot lead. But if you're immortal,
So some necromancer took it from the city of Erebor.
Necromancer?
I think his name was Serenoth, right?
That's
100
that's
years.
what she told us.
That's what she said.
Rife, you like necromancy. Does that name ring a bell for you?
No, I haven't been around this world for 10 times that time.
Yeah, but
mean, that
sometimes
was-
necromancer's long in the tooth, you know.
That was when I was a child. I was only 25 when that happened.
Well, wee lass.
Yeah, I mean that is a I saw a really good thing on D&D Beyond. I think about elf children. They're like, wait a minute, so you're a child for 100 years, and they're like, yeah, wouldn't you be if you had the opportunity? Oh well, yeah, I guess I would be. I would have been a kid for 100 years for sure. But yeah, so that's the hot lead you needed for Sister Garale. None of you had the flesh flensed from your skeletons by the voice of a banshee. Right, that was good. None of you had your souls literally ripped out of your body by her passing through you. I mean, there were a lot of things that could have gone shitty there that just didn't. Right, so that's good. And out of character, I also have to congratulate. This might be our very first non-murder hobo moment. Like we walked in there, nobody pulled their dick out. Right, all the swords stayed sheathed. Right, it was. I mean,
sent women in.
Right, that's exactly it, isn't it?
I would also like to argue we didn't murder Gary.
That's true.
We might
that's
have.
True.
Yeah, like we let him off pretty easy.
You did just beat him almost to death and rob him. You're right. So that is an improvement. What was that?
In Cyril's defense, she did try to save them.
Clean them.
Those red brands.
Clean.
I gave number 3 a chance to give up.
That's right. Give up, or I'll hit you with my most powerful spells immediately. Oh, I have to hit you with my most. That was you. You gave him like a 14th of a second.
We had a long rest. We had a long rest coming up. It might as well get him out, or we lose him.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Indeed. So, I mean, what we have here is a successful trip to Agatha's lair and the ruins of Coneyberry, right? So that means that we can progress on another day, should we want, towards the direction of the Old Owl's Well to get the landmark established there, see what's going on with all of that. Right, additionally, we could go back to Phandalin, tell Sister Garale this, turn in our ducats, right? If we want to do that one quest, I'm one of those MMO guys where I like to stack the region, and then I come back and get the dopamine rush from like 7 of those exclamation marks going off. Oh, yeah. Nice. But, yeah, so that's what I would recommend here, most likely. And with that, I think we will fast forward the clock, right? Until the evening of this very same day, about halfway in between the ruins of Coneyberry and Agatha's lair, where we find ourselves making camp for the evening in the shade of a much larger than necessary stone bridge. It looks like whoever built this thing was planning for the Tribor Trail at this region to be a major section of commerce, right? And whether that was due to the magical lingering effects of the old owl well in the Netherall Empire causing a higher instance of magical beasts here, poor planning, the proclivity of goblins to be spawned in these woods, right? The orc raids, whatever. The bridge itself is much more ornate and established than the trail off to either side of it. And the dry creek bed underneath is a fairly good spot to bed down. Yeah. With that established...
Is this a stone bridge?
It is, in fact, a stone bridge, yeah.
I'm just going to stone cunning and look at it for a little bit.
Of course you will, yeah.
I'd like to walk over to Lason and I'd like to look at it.
Yeah.
So you see, this craftsmanship here, they have to build it like this. I don't know if they had archways where you came from. Did they have archways? I assume so. I mean, geometry is geometry, right?
I'm not sure.
Well, this rounded shit here is an archway, and you use these because it disperses the weight better, so it can hold up a lot better than if you just do a squared off bridge. Yeah, and so I just describe what I see. I don't know if it was made by dwarves.
Why don't you give me a history roll with advantage due to your stone cunning?
Only a 13.
13 is definitely enough to know that it's not dwarven in manufacture. That it is impossibly old, right? And that when it was initially constructed, it was constructed using a line of black stone that ran down the center of the arc that was something you would attribute to the ancient Netherese Empire. The architecture itself, far too worn throughout the years. None of the carvings, none of the structural elements. I mean, it's just like a stone bridge at this point. But as you go under and look up, there's a line of these black stones lining the bottom of the thing that are indicative of Netherese stonework.
Actually, this here, like, and I kind of come out from under it and wherever Rife is, sharpening his book. I'm just like, hey, this is I think this is your people built this. This is like their trademark here. I don't know if you remember that or if you knew anything about bridge building, but yeah.
You mean, Tillyson, you mean there are more people that look like Rife?
Well, I mean, like 1,000 years ago when Rife was, before he died and all that stuff and came back to chill out with us, like, he was probably more human-y. Looked more, I mean, I
More
don't know.
human-y.
I wasn't there.
I was a human at one point.
There, yeah, see, he was human at one point. It's hard to tell now, but they don't live as long as us. They have to, like, anyway,
They turn into people jerky,
That's-
you know?
yeah, that bugbears apparently really, really like.
I'd like to cast Prestidigitation on Rife one more time just to make sure that I can get him more clean.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he has the shiniest chainmail on this side of the King's Road, right? I mean, he is like 100%.
Now, is he like
Glistening.
a dog where he just like immediately after getting cleaned is like, I'm gonna go rub in this dirt pile over here because
Right, he comes back just rubbing like a rodent's guts on him, like, that's better.
I think that's what Billy did.
No, he
That's
actually,
true, yeah.
he's trying to be grumbling about it, but you can't. But Serial definitely notices that he seems to be like, a little bit like.
Maybe
Yeah.
she cares about me? Oh shit, is there a chink in Rife's armor forming? What?
Just
No.
really small.
Just a
really
small,
small.
just for just a second, he's like,
Tiny.
it's actually nice to be cared for by a bitch, right? Yeah. No, I'm feeling it. All right. So guys, I'm afraid I'm going to need a watch order. Ah, shit.
Are you?
I am.
well,
Right.
it's usually Alestria and Rife because they don't
Yeah,
have to.
well,
sleep
yeah,
very
for
much.
sure. But I need to know which one is first in that. I mean, it's a reduced watch order, but it is, in fact, still a watch order.
Which part of the watch is going to get more light outside?
Which part of the...
Oh, that's true because one's got. Do we
Dawn,
leave the fire
Dawn, the
burning?
second watch, yeah.
Okay, so I'll take first watch because it makes more sense that way.
All right, excellent. In that case, it's Rife that gets dragged off into the woods and eaten off camera. Scene.
Oh, good. They get a bad meal.
Yeah.
Maggots and yeah.
Like that scene in The Walking Dead, spoiled meat! You know, it's a callback there. I haven't watched that show in like 5 years. It's still on, isn't it? Aren't they still doing it? They killed the guy. And isn't that show still technically running? That seems like a mistake to kill the guy and keep... When they killed him in the comic book, they literally announced it next episode ended the book. That's how you should have done it. Take that, AMC. Put that in your unsolicited... in your pipe and smoke something there. Because I'm the one with the $1 million TV show, right? So I should be the one being like, actually, what you should have done is listen to me. But where is my trail camp? There's the trail camp. Yeah, you're right. They killed the dude is definitely... That's a pretty deep cut on the spoiler tip. They killed the dude in The Walking Dead. The dude dies. There, I ruined
so many
it.
dudes.
I have officially ruined The Walking Dead forever. Because dude's
Don't
dead,
dead
man.
Open inside, no.
Don't dead open inside. It's a great subreddit. Alright, so what I need for you guys is to pick your relative positions around this here campfire. For no
We can't
reason in particular.
We can't.
You can't
a
see?
campfire.
Oh my god, really?
Gotta
Is it
drag it.
doing...
We're just floating in the black astral. feed
Hello?
plane.
Is Me you're looking for? You know what would help? Probably
need
this,
some-
huh?
We can play
Did
some
that help?
cheer. That'll like.
Click your token. It didn't help. Clicking your token didn't help. Did they break line of sight in D&D too? That would be impressive. They broke it in Deadlands, but they normally keep it. You guys literally can't see anything.
Nope.
Wow.
Just a tiny
You
little
get each
square.
other. You can see each other.
How about now? Nothing?
Nope.
Nothing?
Yes.
Nope.
Oh yeah, I can now.
Oh.
It took a minute to load. Whoa.
Alright,
Yeah.
alright.
Just
Yeah.
dropped us right on it.
Yay! All right. Yay! So, yeah, you're sleeping. This is the second watch, so it's going to be Rife up at first, which is always fun. Rife, you're sitting there, not bad touching yourself. I'm assuming all that's long since passed, right? When there's suddenly
Nothing there.
flapping
No feeling.
of
No feeling.
leathering wings, right? And zip of movement goes past, right? You go, what the hell is that, right? And all of a sudden another pair of leathery wings goes zipping past. And then all at once, you are suddenly surrounded by a swarm of sturges. All right? Now, sturges, for those, it's a wonderful biker rally. It's a great way to get the coronavirus. I really recommend it. Are first off not populating on the map where they should be, even though the map placement has them in there. All right, well, 1 second here. We're gonna sort this shit out. But I will describe sturges for those of us in the audience and, well, in fact, players that are unfamiliar. Take yourself a bat, right? Combine it with a mosquito and put little tiny hooked claws on the end of its wings so that it can grasp you, and you have sturges, all right? And they attack in swarms, generally at night, and generally attracted by campfires. They generally also go on the map when I place them. They screwed the pooch on this. Give me a second here. I have to drop these guys manually for some reason. That being said, individually, right, about as lethal as a bat combined with a mosquito. Right, when they start swarming, though, or manage to get latched onto you and get to be drinking, right, can be much more of a problem. And it appears as though there are going to be 8 of them here. So, Rife, you're awake. Alestria, you're in a trance. And Serial and Teleathan, I mean, you're cutting logs at this point. So it's going to be this first round. And then responses from everybody. You're going to wake up to having a sturge draining you, essentially, is probably what's going to happen here. Unless somebody's quick thinking can awaken people. I'm afraid that Alestria, you're up first, but as mentioned, are currently tranced out. Rife hasn't had a... Well, now it's a bonus action to shout. He has noticed them. How do I want to handle this? I do think you should have an opportunity to, why don't you give me a perception check at disadvantage? And I'm looking for DC 10 from everybody who is asleep or otherwise incapacitated.
Alright.
Including you, Serial.
Not 20.
Yeah, she's awake.
Oh,
Blah,
look at
blah,
that.
blah,
Double
blah.
nat 20s.
Wow, that was you dropped a 20 for a 20. Well, congratulations. Everybody is awakened. I don't know whether it's by Rife screaming like a girl or the swarming herd of the sturges now.
They're not
seeking,
brooms.
Right, they're not brooms for sure. But why don't we go ahead and start then with Alestria, now awake, who was prone and will have to spend half their movement to get up and get going, but other than that is unrestricted.
I will stand up and draw my swords and then move between Teleasin and the sturge that's near her.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, they're kind of just, you know, they're
Yeah.
flying. They're not stationary by any stretch of the imagination. Swooping in, coming back up, flapping for a second, going for another dive bomb. Bat mosquitoes. I mean, that shit, you know. Are you still reckless or dancing?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and fall into the dance and recklessly attack the one right there. Nope,
Thank you, a
that's wrong.
microbiologist. Welcome.
Try and cut the thing in half.
Excellent. I mean, that's definitely gonna hit, and I mean, so I didn't mean to describe these things as like, massive foes or anything. No, I mean it literally.
Oh.
You hit it with your sword and it pops into a big burst of blood, splattering you with its innards. It's, they're bat mosquitoes. About as, if you hit a bat mosquito with a sword, it's no longer.
Bat-skeetos?
Yeah, bat mosquitoes.
Na 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 mosquito.
Let me see here, if you guys... I do love that D&D generally has the art for it that I can share with you guys. That's what a sturge looks like. It's a bat mosquito, right? They're hideous little, disgusting leathery winged. They have a proboscis they use to drain you. It's fucked up.
It was disgusting at mosquito.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they didn't need anything other than... Mosquito was full stop enough, then they gave it bat wings. Like, oh, fuck that. Are you multi-attacking, or was that,
That's
just the one and done?
My enter my rage, I can't make the second
That's
attack.
right. Thank you. Sturge number 8 is going to go ahead and try and dive bomb Alestria. Kind of coming up high in an arc, tucking its wings and using gravity to kind of form a little bat-skeeto dart as it attempts to blood drain. And it's gonna hit because of that reckless attack. Proboscis finding purchase. Piercing and draining 2 points of blood. And blood drain +5 to hit. While attached, Sturge doesn't attack. You just get drained every turn. It can detract itself if it wants by using 5 points of movement. You can also detach it from you by using your action. So, just to clarify, it will stay on there until you it's full or you dead. Sturge number 5 is going to swoop in here and attempt to do the same to Sariel. Sariel, you've just woken up, still trying to make sense of things, and now this thing's like dive bombing your face. Gonna drink ya.
Ah.
Gonna drink you up. Oh, it doesn't. You managed to catch it, and it makes a little noise as it kind of flaps and scurries right in your face, Right, you're up.
Try and spot at it.
All right. Well, Rife remembers he's got a really distaste for these things, and he's still feeling a little, just a small fondness for Sariel. So he's gonna go next to this. Sturge is attacking her. He's gonna attempt to just squish it.
Yeah, which can literally be done with an action. You can grab it and squeeze it and kill it. If it's like in her face and stuff, like feel free. Yeah.
Grab the roll.
Or yeah, you can swing that book and can critically fail and hit her with it. Oh, it could be a comedy of errors. But I think an 11 will do. Let's see. Oh, it doesn't.
No.
Dips out the way. Too nimble.
Yeah, and it's dark, so I'm kind of like, I'm looking from the campfire into the darkness, so I am kind of like swinging half
Right.
blindly.
Well, and so like, let's really. It's kind of comedic into the description, but how fucking horrifying are these, right? Like, it's like a foot wide, 1.5 foot wide, like bat with a mosquito proboscis that attacks you in a swarm at night. Everybody was chilling. Next thing you know, they're flitting out of the darkness. You only have like. Well, everybody here has dark vision except for you, so never mind. I mean, everybody's like, oh, I can see it. It's right there. It's right there. It's coming in right here. About 1 second, right? Right. But normally, I mean, if we were chilling, right, and we were attacked by a bunch of mosquito bats, what a horrifying... You wake up to that shit? No, thank you. I am not a fan of Sturges, right? Or the bike rally, for that matter. Because my Delta variant, motherfuckers. Come on. All right. Sturge number 3. Is, Sariel, you are closest and juiciest, I am afraid, currently. Gonna attempt to dive bomb you with its proboscis.
It's all that unicorn magic.
Right, and also misses. I don't know. Maybe the spear of its own volition, like, bang, stands up and it smacks into it as it was about to hit you. Sturge number 4 is up, and it had a taste of somebody's uncle a few years ago, right? And ever since then, it's really the cold iron vintage. It's been something this Sturge has been really after. And, You know, so it's going to attempt to dive bomb to Laosin and all of its sturgidness.
Ugh,
If its
this is a
proboscis
sturgeon.
gets like
Ugh,
firm when it's about to attack,
Bloody hell.
is it sturgid?
yeah.
Is this gonna get it
gross.
drunk because it's drinking her blood, which is like half alcohol?
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
sturge is like, I'm actually
that
I'm
tracks.
cool, man. But it does.
Yeah,
it
he just
manages
tastes
to hit you.
Oh,
Little claws have like synced into the meat of your. You know when a cat's got you? It's like that on the end of either one of its wings. It's burying its face in you. 1d4 plus 3 piercing as it drains. For.
jeez.
Yes. That's your concentration fails on you. Yeah, because it injured you and then you lost your hunter's mark. That's what happened there. Okay,
Sure.
I was like, what's with that math? But, yes.
No, that's fine.
You know, Fantasy Grounds is amazing because it automates the math, and then sometimes it automates like 7 things in a row, and I have to be like, wait a minute, what'd you do? Okay, and then it did that, and oh yeah, no, that is right. But,
Yeah, I
stop
need to
John
remember to
Henrying
turn
me,
that off.
Fantasy Grounds. God. It really is. I'm sitting here trying to keep up, and it's like the Steam driving the rules. It's like 4 modifiers ahead of me. It's hard. It's hard. It's the future right here. But yeah, you do in fact get lightly wounded as it begins to bleed you out. Sturge number 2. Man, what is their movement? Let me see here. 40. Yikes, that's anyone. We'll say this one, Rife. Sariel's got a couple she's dealing with. This one has a taste for the vintage, you know? It's like 491 DR. It was a wonderful year, right? As it goes into attack Rife. Little barbed tongue on the end of its
Ooh.
proboscis sinking in there. Yeah, and it's
getting much
definitely
out
a
of that.
barbed tongue. You know, I just picture like a little. You ever see like a hummingbird tongue, where it comes out and it's got like a little syringe kind of thing going on, just like that, except for it's got spikes on the end and it's entering your body to drink your blood. Or your ichor, your tarry black.
That black
Gaigu.
juice. It's oil.
No, let's not call it Gaigu. I'm gonna kibosh that one before that one even takes off there. Lightly wounding you. And now, Sariel, you are up.
I would like to just like scramble up. Something's getting me. And I grab my spear and I just kind of swing it in front of me at wildly at one of these sturges.
Oh god, melee attack in the Sturge. I attack the darkness.
Just bat it. Bat it like a baseball. Dwarven sport, I'll tell you about it later.
Swing
No!
and a critical
Oh,
hit
critical
and a critical effect. What in the fuck? Alright, so,
Brutal!
something's attacking me, and kind of raise your spear arm defensively, and it twirls like unbidden in your hand and just stabs out. One of the Sturges just poof, fine red mist, 2 wings fall to the ground, right? Brutal wound. It must make a successful DC 10 plus your con level or its speed is. It has 2 hit points. You vaporized it. There's no. I mean, go ahead and roll. I don't know. It can't survive that because even worse damage, you do 2 points of damage. There's nothing left of Sturge. Not even the memory of Sturge remains. Good God. I was like, the Warlock's using melee again. And then she's like, yes, I am. Blah! Perfect dice
gnome.
back to back.
She's not the gnome.
She's not Todrick for sure. Sturge number 6 is gonna come in onto Laosin as well, closest there. The other Sturge there, Sturge 4.
Bloody hell.
He had been talking about the dwarf. You gotta try some dwarf. And he is. Come on, slow dice. Wow, really? Dang, +5. Gonna hit there with the 14. A second proboscis now entering you. Oh, for better dice there.
crap.
5 points more. I mean, you're starting to get sucked up. Just not the weight loss plan that I would go for. Holy hell. Starting to look like Raiders or something, all drying out.
I'm just melting over here.
They fast drinkers for sure, but you can use your action to automatically just grab one and squeeze it and kill it. If they are attached to you, that's, I mean,
Sure,
it's a
sure.
strength in numbers sitch.
Absolutely. I am gonna do that. Just because I was supposed to use it in my last combat and I forgot, I'm gonna go ahead and I don't know if it's a bonus action to quaff my potion of badass. I was gifted one last week.
Potions are an action, but it's a bonus action.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
the potion
fine.
of badass. Yeah, no, well,
Okay.
potion.
Cool.
Well, now, so you can actually, never mind, because you can use your action to quaff your potion of badass, and then bonus action still grab the thing and squeeze. I mean, poop.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. As part of my, I'm just like, oh, as my veins are distended, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting drained alive here, and I'm like, before though, because I'm a dwarf and we drink before every important task, I just whip out this potion of badass and I throw it back, and I'm like, ah, and I just rip one off and I make it pop, and I've got gore and viscera of a sturge just dripping down my hand, and I'm like, and it's my own blood, and I'm like, oh.
Here's the thing, though. When you drink that potion of badass, there's still another sturge feeding on you, and his mane of fur around his neck gets just so lush, right? You can see the musculature in his wings. His little claws get to sharp and shiny points, right? I mean, he's the most badass looking sturge that has ever lived. For sure.
That works.
Right. Sturge number 1. Wait, Sturge 1? Where is Sturge 1 on my... I see Sturge 6, I see Sturge 4, 3, 2. Where the fuck is Sturge 1?
Wait, Talason, did you actually kill one?
She did pop one of them.
did.
Sturge
Okay.
6 or 4.
Let's go with,
They're
you
both
dislike
on
the
ya.
number 6. Get rid of it. Get rid of
Just
6.
like the number... I'm actually a fan of the number 6. That's weird.
I like 4 better than 6. I don't know why.
I don't know why I have positive associations with the number 6, but I find it a pleasing number.
We know you're a Satanist over there with your 3
Oh, yeah.
6s.
It's definitely... SOL! Hail Satan! Hail Satan! Alright. Oh, you know what it is? It's that I missed Sturge 1 in the draw order. So he's just down there. That explains it, because I had to manually put him on the map. From here... I mean, I use Sariel. You know. Gonna get some of that Skittles blood. You know, taste the rainbow?
Taste
See what
the
I did
rainbow.
There? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, candy advertising. And hit,
got me.
man.
It's got me!
It definitely does. And moderately wounds you 5 points of damage, taking a big old sip. As we move into the next... Oh, God, really? Wow. Okay. Sturge number 1 automatically hits since it is still attached to Sariel. No attack roll needed, just drinking on. And it has taken another 4 points, leaving you heavily wounded. I mean, it doesn't take long for these guys to really start to do damage on the
I'm
the
gonna
suction
be murdered by
tip.
sturges.
You might... I mean, it's brutal.
We might all be.
You wouldn't be the first is. Sturge number 2, still connected to Rife, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I forget. Did one get you successfully? Yeah.
True.
Peeling off there. Oh, I guess I can... Oh, wow. I can literally apply an effect that automatically rolls this every turn? Holy heck, doodle. That's neat. You don't get that in Savage Worlds for sure. Sturge number 3 had been unsuccessful, so it is going to have to try an attack roll against Sariel again. Oh, God, and I apologize, Sariel. Is that thump, thump, thump? Is there just like a dartboard into you, all right? Welcome to your 4th night on the Sword Coast, or whatever.
Wait, hold on. Didn't she
Another
murder
one's
one of these
gotten-
guys?
She did murder one of them, yes.
Sturge 8's still on the board. Oh, no, he isn't. Never mind.
Another one's got me!
Nice try.
Yeah, I mean, close. Close. rolled it over himself, making him unconscious, which is not true. But in fact, over Sarah. Oh no, Sariel, you are unconscious.
No. What?
Yeah,
You are.
Guys, get him off! Get him off! Get him
Actually-
off her!
Sturge 3 is dead.
Sturge 3 is dead because I accidentally dropped the damage over him
Dropped
the
it on
first
him.
time.
Right,
Yeah,
no,
so
I'm
he's-
saying Sariel attacked it, crit it, and killed it, but it didn't get removed because she didn't roll damage.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, that's right.
You're right. Well, Sariel is still,
Whoops.
she has 5
None of you
points
can
of
see
life
that.
back there. That's, I'm gonna hand wave all that there. It's, yeah, that's it. We got 9.
That file
9.
of resurrection.
Well, oh my god. She wasn't, so first off,
She
she wasn't
yet.
dead. Second off,
Yeah.
she hasn't so she has a file of resurrection now
that
because
was-
she wasn't bleeding out. There
I'll
was that
stash it.
was
I'll
so
stash it in my bag.
premature. That was wow, white knighting like a
Spouse to the rescue
motherfucker.
immediately.
He was like,
Mine's
she's
asleep."
unconscious. Take the file. Take the file. I can't have. Oh God, they injured her. Give her a healing potion too. Jesus,
I
Rusty.
sewed that costume. I did
My
it all
God,
myself.
I know.
She must live.
I know.
We just don't
50K
want another
viewer points.
Todrick.
Right, I know. It was almost Todrick 2.0. So she is not actually dying, but now has a 50,000 point potion in her backpack, just ready to go in case she does. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah. He just sees, oh my God, she's dying. And it literally didn't even think about it, leapt to the right. I'm going to have like a no husbands policy on the potions here. Good Lord. That was very precious, though. Okay. Moving on with your totally not dead and in potioned wife. Jesus Christ. All right. Sturge number 8 is in fact deceased.
No, he's good.
Wait,
He should be fine.
8?
Yeah. I killed 7.
All right, we have 4 Sturges on the board at this point. Rife, go.
The numbers don't matter.
The
all right.
numbers don't matter. It's one number, Wang.
Yeah. So
1, 2, 5, and 4 are on the board.
Rafe may be a grumpy guy, but he's not necessarily stupid, and he doesn't want Sariel, the one person he's seen who can like heal him, to go unconscious. So he's gonna drink his potion of badassness. He takes his chain and he wraps it around Sturge number 5, one of the ones that's attacking Sariel. Wraps around his neck and just pulls it tight, just popping the thing, getting blood all over him and Sariel.
Oh, just like the twisting action of the chains causing the 2 halves of Sturge to distend and erupt into just a... Now that's how you defend a lady, 7th Port. Oh, no, excellent. Killing Sturge, what's the number there? 5?
5.
Excellent. 5 is no more. Taliesin. Sturge
I
still
just-
lodged in you, wiggling. I can't
I'm
feel
just
good
gonna-
though either.
No, his little tongue is like all in there, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to get this worked out later. And I just grab him, and I actually is what I'd like to do. And if I have to roll something, I will. I just want to. I'm gonna like grab him with both my hands, and I'm going to like one hand on like his back end away from his proboscis, and then the other one is gonna like a tube of toothpaste. I'm gonna try to like reinvigorate my blood and then rip him off when I get to his mouth.
So,
I know there's gonna be other crap in there.
I'm just
But I'm
saying,
dwarven.
like, you're gonna squeeze the Sturge's bits like a tube of toothpaste back into you.
I have a resistance to poison.
You do, yes, you do, right? Which is fair. And I'm gonna, I just, Jesus Christ.
She wants the alcohol back. She wants that alcohol.
Give me
Right,
my
yeah.
blood. Give me my
Right,
drunk blood back. Damn it.
Boy, I have to literally think about I plan for a lot of eventualities as a dungeon master, right? Somebody grabbing the bottom of the Sturge and squeezing the contents back into themselves like a tube of, quote, toothpaste is not one of those things that I had locked down there. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, you definitely can squeeze it back in. It will have no medical effect. I won't require a dice roll for it because, I mean, they just, they die when you touch them automatically. They're meant to, but...
Right, yeah. I mean, it's more just for flair. Like,
you certainly have a big, bulging mass of,
I didn't rub in my vaccine. It's just that lump right there.
It's just, but there's like a... I mean, you're probably not the first thing it's ate on, and we're gonna need to roll for the Gamma variant. This is how that whole Wuhan shit started right there. Just squeezing animals back into ourselves. I'm telling you, that's problematic.
I mean, it's flavor text. It doesn't mean anything.
Oh, it is. It's definitely flavored text. I'll give you that. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
We nailed that. And Alestria, I just make it stop, please.
So is number 4 dead? The one that's on?
Yeah, number 4 is in fact dead.
Should be, yeah.
Used to the deletion. I suck at it when it doesn't do it for me.
I will. Spin past Taliesin, having watched her do whatever that was.
Whatever that was.
And as I come across the camping area, the little camp area, I spin with my sword to attack the one on Sariel, which should have been.
And whiff.
Why was that not?
Turn the dance rage advantage. You have the dance on.
That, right?
You have the master. You have all the same stuff. You're not recklessly attacking right now.
Oh, did it turn it off?
Yeah, I turned it off with the last combat tracker. You'd have to throw it back on, I think.
That's fine. And then I'll attack it again. I'll swing across again. Come up the other. Nope.
Whiff.
Cool.
Too small.
Too much.
All right.
Or was it reckless enough?
It was not quite reckless enough. Sariel.
Okay, I would like to, as a bonus action, I'd like to heal myself.
Yep.
With my, my healing light.
Yep. Had a long rest since the last time. We all gravy on that. As many dice as you'd like to throw at it.
I'd like to do 2 on myself. So I close my eyes and my eyes light up behind my eyelids. Rainbow light. Prismatic.
Excellent. 4 points come back. 5 points total. Not so good, but not so terrible. Now she's only got 4 points of damage. You sure you don't want to throw another file at her, Rusty? I mean, she does have 4 points of damage.
And then I would like to drink my illusory potion.
Yeah. Illusion of Badass?
Yeah, that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to take my spear, and I'd like to spear the one. Is that the one that was like drinking my blood? Was that one of the ones that was drinking me?
Honestly, at this point, I have lost count.
All right. I'd like to.
Yeah, no, it was. Number 1 definitely was drinking you because you had 3 on you at one point, which was the record.
So I grab the spear and I just kind of like, I don't know.
Stab yourself in the throat?
No. Stab the sturge. I'd like to skewer it, and then I'd like to like fling it into the campfire.
Oh yeah, or it screams and it hisses, before lying still. Smell of burning hair for sure. Yeah, now you get the whole, like they do in the horror movie when the giant spiders landed on them and they put it on the burner or something. Yeah, exactly what happens there. Fantastic, killing Sturge 1, and again, since it was touching you, no attack roll required. And we have just 1 Sturge left going into this last round, and Alestria up first.
I will continue. I will attack it recklessly as I bring my swords one at a time across, trying to catch it in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Go.
Oh, that'll do, pig. That'll do. 25. Oh, cats.
Nice.
12 points of damage to its 2 hit points. I mean, it's like you went back and you erased that Sturge grandpa, like 3 generations of its family just faded out of existence, like Back to the Future Polaroids. Like, no, that was, you killed it. You killed it. You killed its son's hope of going to college. Now its Sturge son, it's not going to have the resources it had of a steady home life. I mean, you killed it. Like, it's dead, and thusly ending the Sturge attack. And I would imagine, meaning that we're gonna need another long rest, huh? Like, oh boy, that was a nice camp. You guys want to stay a little longer? Yeah.
I'm doing
Long
good.
rest is
No,
good.
we're fine.
I'm solid. Sariel. Like drinking files of resurrection and they're not working because it's just pouring out of the hole in her neck, you know? Like, that's great. Yeah, long rest for sure here. Let's get that sorted. My God.
What were those evil things sucking out our bloods at night while we sleep?
And why didn't they attack you, Alestria?
They did. I made
You
up
don't look
tougher
injured at
things.
all.
I
She
made
had
up
2
tougher
points of
things.
damage.
What can I say?
I saw those red bands beat the shit out of you.
It's more like scratches. They weren't that bad. Did they hurt
I
you?
wash out my wounds with stout.
Yeah, the Sturges are pretty common fare, right? Like, they just happen along in packs. They rest in the trees during the day. They hunt at night. They drink the blood of living creatures, right? They're just like the Sword Coast version of like a vampire bat or something. You
They're
guys
just rad
had
roaches.
yeah, pretty much. It's one of those standard camping problems that you deal with, right? That if you were at 5th level, you'd be like, all right, I'm just gonna sleep through it. Get what you want, guys. Right? But at 2nd level, right, if you get 3 of them on you, we saw, and we can proc all kinds of husband feelings pretty quick. So it went pretty good there, frankly. But yeah, you guys won't be able to set out until midday, certainly, given the fact that we're going to need to get a full night's sleep and recovery on everybody. But the wounds are mended, right? And by midday, it means that it should only be, early evening when you guys make your way up the gravel-ridden slopes of the mountain that the old owl well rests alongside. I've definitely seen Sturge encounters go better than that one, though, too. Yeah. And it's funny, because it's one of those things as a DM, you go, oh yeah, 1d4 plus 2 damage, they got 2 hit points, that's easy. And then all of a sudden 4 of them manage to hit somebody, and you go, oh, no, that's actually 4d4 plus 2. You know, they stack up real quick. D&D's real good at that sort of thing. But it's the middle of the next day when you first catch sight of the old owl well, a few miles up a slope. Indeed, magnificent white stone showing against the local area. Why don't you go ahead and give me a insight history advantage for Taliesin. It is stone, in fact.
Okay, fantastic.
there you go.
Taliesin, 22. That'll do. The white stone of the ruins, even at this distance, right, still a couple hours travel away, was clearly not quarried from the region. Right, the stone around here is gray granite predominantly, right? No white stones. Certainly not large enough to quarry the stones that would be required for the foundation of a building. You could see at this distance in the area. Whoever brought this here brought it here from somewhere way in the north, speculatively, given the knowledge of your Icewind Dale, maybe around that region. But not here, certainly. Not at all. And it does stand in a stark contrast, right? Like all the foundations back in Phandalin, right? They're from local stone. They were quarried by dwarves, and they were quarried with excellent craftsmanship, but they weren't quarried from 1,000 miles away and then brought here, right? Which this stuff clearly was, in fact.
And is this the tower?
This is the old owl well, which is the ruins of the tower.
Okay.
Again, it's up a mountain slope. You're still a couple hours away, but even at this distance, you can see it. It rests on an unnatural-looking plateau that sits at like a 5-degree angle, right? The tower itself, like a middle finger of a skeleton, kind of flipping off the rigors of time, right? Not a complete structure anymore, but still several stories standing tall against epoch of history, easily. But, as you crest the low ridge, another hour or so into your travel, you really take in the crumbling ruins of the old watchtower. Standing amid the rugged hills again on this kind of strange canted plateau. And I will take a insight history from everybody, rife with advantage.
You mean intelligence history?
That's the one, intelligence history. Insight history. I'm making shit up now.
I was like, yeah.
Didn't they say
Yeah,
they
natural 20.
Nice. We've had a good night with those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tons of nat 20s coming through here. Alestria, right with advantage. Here we go. Yeah, 18 and 21. 21 will take the cake. Oh, wow. Dang, you guys actually... Did you get almost the whole mustard there? I didn't expect that. So, right.
Oh, you know what? If there's anything else we didn't get, I'll spend my knowledge from the past life.
Knowledge from the past. Get another D6 on top of that. Let's see here. You could tentatively get one more.
No.
So close, but
No.
so far away. That's fine.
Yeah.
So this location near the Old Owl Well has served as a waypoint for travelers along the Tribor Trail since time immemorial. Right, like it's something that's been on maps in prehistory. Right, like it's a waypoint. That's you point out if you go left, if you see the White Tower, you've gone too far. It's that kind of deal. Right, it's a landmark at this point. It's known for its ancient well. Right, in the center of the thing that is reputed to still draw crystal clear water and serve as a waypoint for travelers. Right, is one of the other reasons. You can fill up your canteens there, provision your horses. Beautiful drinking water out of this well. A 15 on the insight history gets that the Old Owl Well was originally built by the Netherese to perform expeditions into a primordial vault of magical stones called Chardalin stones. Right? These black rocks powered much of the late Netherese technological advancements, magical artifacts. Prior to the Netherese Rife, you would know this loosely. I mean, you weren't involved with the magic rituals, but you understood the things. Prior to the discovery of how to utilize these powers, which were basically like spell batteries, you put a spell in it, you break the stone, it casts the spell, right? Netherese literally dedicated their life force to every spell. And they would give away a little bit of themselves to perform every magical act they had. It was draining, right? This changed their whole society, this technology. Right? This place, the Old Owl Well, was specifically built to perform expeditions into a primordial vault of these stones. Well below, ancient cavern system where the water comes from also contains a huge reservoir of these ancient magical stones. Right? 20, my god here, right, lets you know that this vault was constructed by an incredibly ancient Saruk Lich. Right? And we'll get to Saruk here in a second too, because I didn't expect this shit, right? Known to be a magical advisor to the Netheril Empire. He was called Terraseer by them, and is said to be as old as Toril itself, Toril being the planet on which you guys currently stand, right? And with those insights, I'm going to need another intelligence history, and this time rife with advantage as well.
Ooh.
A Saruk Lich. Ooh, excellent, beautiful. We already got it all. You guys can stop. He got it. He guys just looking for a 20, you mooks, and your histories. All right?
Anyway.
So, now this is super duper interesting, at least to me as a nerd, right? The Saruk are one of the 5 progenitor races of Faerun. Right? They are the beginner, the creator race. Scholars refer to them as the Scaled Ones, right? They are reputed to have taken the reptilian animals that existed in Abil Toril, right, which was primordial Toril. It was the word before it was the world, right? and turned them into all the lizard sentient species we have today. The Saruk are said to be the fathers of the Naga, the Yuan-Ti, troglodytes, lizard folk, all of them. If it's sentient and it has scales outside of Dragonborn, they're a different thing, right? It's because these guys came through and they literally created them from the ether. They took the existing animals, said, we're going to use magic to make them smart, and did so, right? Powerful creator, progenitor race, right? So it is 1491 DR right now, right? This species ruled Abel Toril, right, in negative 35,000 DR, nearly 40,000 years ago, is when they built this vault structure and this cave system to house these crystals, right? That beats the Netherese Empire, right? The ancient folk we've been talking about with Rife, by literally about 35,000 years, right? Like, they are incredibly old, incredibly powerful, incredibly venerable progenitor races that are said to have disappeared completely. Now, as to whether or not that's true, right? I mean, you can't be like an elder creator race and completely disappear, right? And secondly, how the fuck deep is this well, right? I mean, good lord, right? But the place is so old, right, that the walls are only mounds of rubble enclosing a courtyard of sorts that's attached to the broken stump of the watchtower. Again, still 4 stories, but certainly not a full watchtower. In the center of the courtyard, there's a deep wine red tent of foreign design that's been set up, kind of garishly contrasting the ancient ruins. Wisdom insight check from everybody. Oof. Oof. Oof.
Rough.
Oof. Well, Sariel, they're at the 10. I don't know why you know this again, Sarah. The staff speaking to you. Oh, there we go, Alestria. Whew. I can have a more narratively feasible answerer here. The tent is of Thayan make, as in designed by somebody from the Eastern Empire of Thay. Pretty common knowledge that they don't get along with the Swords Coast King's Alliance folk, right? Not in the least for their penchant for killing people, raising them from the dead, and then using them as slaves or as magic batteries, right? It's kind of their ish. They're ruled by a necromancer. I hesitate to throw around labels like evil, but if there was an evil empire, right, currently in action, wandering around in Faerun, it would probably be the Thay, right? Now, necromancy is allowed on the Sword Coast, certainly, but it's pretty heavily regulated, right? And oh, you're a necromancer? Couldn't you have picked, like, a cool school of magic? Like, it's frowned upon, right? That being said, in Thay, right, they are ruled by a necromantic lich that's said to have been around for 1,000 years. They fucks with the black magic. And the human life is very cheap in the Eastern Kingdoms, right? So, that's what you get from the tent here. In addition to... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that tracks with we were told that there was a necromancer and undead in this area before we left town.
I mean, that certainly does. Why don't we get a wisdom perception?
Oh, mine rolled off the table.
Cock dice!
Yeah, you can't throw them right off the screen.
Doesn't count off the table, huh?
All right, no, it literally doesn't, no. But everyone looking for a 10 there. And that's because the stench of decay rides high on the air.
Smells awful.
It does.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't smell anything.
Yeah, that's because you're used to your own smell.
It's even riper than rife.
Yeah, that takes a special kind of decay.
This area is rife with ripe undead that aren't rife.
It's rife with the ripe. That's too much. That's too much.
It's too many.
But
rise.
what is also too much, right, is the low moan that seems to emanate from the interior of the shaded center of the watch tower. Sounds like several figures, perhaps. And me forgetting to loop my audio.
Before we get into this, Will, have you seen the time?
I have seen the time, yeah. I'm trying to cliffhanger it right now. My God, man. My God. I was going to introduce these zombies. They were going to be all scary, and then one of them was going to be like, next time, right? But now we have... Yeah, no. There are zombies in the tower, and we're out of time. This guy.
I was just going to
You know what? I'm just taking inspiration. No inspiration. The next inspiration you get, I'm using. There. Boom. Done. But, yes, there are apparently a mass of undead reeking and moaning in the interior of the old owl. Well, a situation that we will very much so have to resolve next time. Albeit with a little less of a cool, like, I was going to tie a bow on it there. There was, the threat and the horror. Right, but no, it's I admit my storytelling does get so deft sometimes that it's hard to see where I was going to layer it in there. But I had plans. So, folks, we're going to have to see what happens not next week, not the week after, but literally 3 weeks from now. We're going to come back here September 24th and see as to whether or not they, they survive the zombieing inside of the old owl well. Oh, and I'm gonna roll.
Well, I was gonna say something else that you mentioned.
3. It's Rife next time. Boom. Rife, you have 3 weeks to come up with a campfire story. Mm-hmm.
Were you gonna let us rep our stuff?
Well, of course I'm gonna let you. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna get that too. And we're going to level up, right? So we'll be level 3 when we face these zombies. Yay! We accomplished 2 things. Yay!
It was those Sturges.
It was those Sturges, really. They drained the experience out of you, and then you just squeezed it right back into the wound, didn't you? Yeah, so it will be 3 weeks. We will be coming back for Dungeons & Dragons. We are going to be filling the next 2 weeks with a random Friday night. I don't know, we might throw a one-shot in there. We might do some Deadlands. We might do some D&D. We are still sorting it out, but definitely follow us for this 2-week break, because it's not like we're not going to do anything here. I mean, come on. You know, Papa Will needs the performance. Yeah, make me feel good with your eyeballs. All right, now it's getting weird. But
wow.
Before we go for our 2-week break to be back in 3 weeks, indeed, Rue, why don't you rep your shenanigans?
Yeah, so you can find me just about anywhere on the internet. I am extensively online at Rooworks, ROOWERKS, and you can check us out on Monday nights. We run a show with Matt called Star Trek Adventures over on twitch.tv/RookandRasp, and we've got some really cool stuff coming up. Fragged Empire, X-Crawl. Something else is coming and I can't think of it. Fallout RPG in early October. So, check us out over there if you got time.
All
I don't know
kinds.
why I was doing the accent for that.
Because you fall into it, right? Like definitely check out Rook and Rasp. And also, Dice Dead RPG. They rated us tonight. Check out Lawful Stupid RPG. They do a fantastic show as well. In fact, anybody that I recommend on my recommended streamers bar you can find below this window, I wholeheartedly recommend. And think that you should give them your eyeballs as well as us. Of course, give us more of your eyeball. Most of your. I want like 68% of your eyeballs, right? And then you can share the rest amongst the rest of Twitch. But lore, right? No, give these people your support. They deserve it. So, we'll be back in 3 weeks. Rife will be telling the story to kick us off. We will definitely not be killed by zombies and a potential necromancer who has access to ancient Netherese technology, right? Like, that's certainly not an outcome.
And if Sariel does get killed, she has a file of resurrection.
That's true.
So
you
we
already
just push her out
That's
front.
right.
Already, well, now she's the tank, isn't she? I mean, you got a warlock
Right.
tank for at least one episode, right?
Yep.
But I think that will wrap it up for us here. Tuesday, we're doing Wildermyth voiceover. Join the Discord if you'd like to participate in that. Wednesdays, we'll have the Deadlands coming. No, every other week. We're trying to alternate here. Zone, Wildermyth, Zone, Wildermyth. Yeah. From the League of Raconteur Explorers to yourself, per Fabulum Veritas, and may your dice always roll hot. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Night.
Good night.